presents the Atom Bombcast.
Live from the Solid State Drive is the Atom Bombcast, Episode 3. This podcast is made possible by all our amazing Chooms Clubs members in Discord. Thanks for supporting the podcast. Tonight we're talking about one of my favorite games ever, Silent Hill 2, and how Bloober remade a masterpiece. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Atom Bombcast Halloween special. I'd like to introduce one of my good friends, Box. I've known Box for years, and he finally got the opportunity to play Silent Hill 2. I've been literally telling him for years that this is the best game ever made. Box, welcome to the Atom Bombcast.
First off, everybody, happy Halloween. I am currently dressed up as an alligator. Alligator Loki, as you can clearly see, that's my Halloween costume. Second off, screw you. Screw you on two fronts, okay? First off, screw you for stealing my tagline, by the way. Spoiler for something that we have cooking. Second, screw you. This game freaking destroyed me.
Yeah.
This was man. I'm telling you.
I told you it was rough, man. It's rough.
I know. I had. All right, look. It's like I knew that this game was going to be like an emotional roller coaster because you've been talking about it literally for years.
14 years.
But yeah, basically. And dude, man, I gotta say, man, this is one of I mean, well, I guess we'll get into it in a bit, but this snuck up on me, man. I really didn't expect especially like this year, because there's other games that have come out this year that have really hit the mark.
Yeah, it's been an okay year for games, for sure. So just spoiler alert. So the next episode of the Bombcast was supposed to be Starfield, but the DLC kind of like tanked. So we were like, you know what? Let's just pivot.
Yeah. Okay, so that wasn't exactly a highlight of the year.
Yeah,
I can tell you that, right? I mean, this year has been really good, though. I mean, there's been a lot. Like, think about it. We've had Elden Ring got a good DLC. 40K came out. Helldivers 2. You know, friggin' Wukong was good. Call of Duty actually managed to get a good release.
Yeah,
in a long time. That's actually cool. Friggin' Sparking Zero, Concord. There are so many legendary games that came out this year that have just made landmark. And this one, I mean, and the best one that I'm looking forward to, Stalker 2, that wasn't even dropped yet, and it like that was
dude,
like
so
me,
like you've been telling me to play Stalker 2, and I tried to play the first one. It's older, obviously, so I think maybe going in on a newer one. Are they using Unreal? What engine do they use on that?
They're using Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay, so very similar to Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, very similar to. Exactly. Like Unreal Engine is, I think that's basically going to be like the universal game engine for developers
as
going
it should
forward.
Be. Yeah,
probably.
Sure. Yeah,
for better or worse, I think.
Right.
Ultimately, your visuals are going to be great. That's for sure. This game looks incredible. But yeah, this snuck up on me. I know that it's, funny enough, a 23-year-old game, and that one that I've been aware of for years, but I had never been spoiled on it.
Right.
Not one bit. And by the way, I'm picking up a little bit of echo again.
Okay.
I don't want that to affect the recording too much.
It's all good.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I just know, I played the game on. I'm so ashamed to say I played this on HD collection in like 2010, and it was pretty bad. It was full of bugs. We had the classic Comic Sans Silent Hill Ranch, and it's like, man, this was really like, I think it was Havoc who handled that, and they dropped the ball, to say the least. To be fair, like, I know in Japanese culture they don't save that source code to like remake games. They just
finish the Konami. Game. Konami doesn't save the damn source code.
Konami, dude.
Konami's the worst damn thing that's ever happened to the games industry. They're not going to save shit.
Yeah, for real. It's just a shame that the way it was handled back then, it was just so.
And trust me when I tell you, you know this just as well as anybody else. They're more akin to scrubbing shit from ever existing ever again.
Yeah.
Than they are to saving or preserving a damn thing. Yeah. Rest in peace, Silent Hills. By the way, I will say I actually did manage to play the original Silent Hills when it was out, when it was a physical thing.
Yeah, PT,
and
right?
That was pretty wild. Yeah, PT.
I
Yeah,
never
that
had
was
a
wild.
PlayStation, so I could not play it like that way. I had to play it other
At
means.
Walmart.
Yeah, and a Walmart Plus version of it. That being said, I did dabble a little bit into the PC edition of the PC edition of Silent Hill 2, which is the fan made mod, the enhanced edition, and it was fun. I didn't beat it that way. I originally beat the game back in like I think 2010 on HD Collection, and it was very buggy. And it's just it was rough, but I did get through it back then. Uh, yeah, I got the in water ending the first time I played it. And we'll dive into this deeper a little bit later.
We'll dive into it, huh?
But this game, stupid.
Oh
This
yeah,
game.
by the way, a spoiler alert for
Oh
going
yes,
forward
we
if
need to
that's not
let's
already
yeah.
perfectly clear.
This entire podcast is going to spoil all of Silent Hill 2. If we dive into any of the other games or topics, just keep in mind this is a very spoiler heavy podcast. If you want to play the game, go play it. Come
You
back to
should
this.
play the game.
You should
This
play the
is
game.
yeah,
Come back
you
to
absolutely
this
should.
later.
Especially today.
Yeah, especially today.
Halloween.
Yeah. Nah, but like for real though, like Silent Hill 2 genuinely changed like my entire perspective on life. Like it changed my perspective on depression, like sexual desire, what it means to be a man. You know what I mean? It like everything. All this
Yeah,
changed my
I can
life.
see why.
Yeah.
Especially at that age, 2010 you said. That's
Yeah.
pretty it's really crazy because that's the parallels to that and how it's like, because I've known you for freaking years, man. And we go back like Cadillacs. But what's interesting to me is like, for years, you have always tried to get me to play Silent Hill 2. And I've always knew it was always just something where it was just like, if that ever actually does truly become like if I could just have time or just available or interest or whatever,
And it wasn't accessible. It
before
was
I
not
die.
accessible like for a long
Yeah,
time.
that was
Well,
kind
actually
of the
still to
problem.
this day. It's not on Steam. It's not the only way to play, don't quote me. The only way to play Silent Hill 2 right now is to A, have an Xbox 360 with HD collection, B, have a PS2 and just boot that up that way, or C, have a PC
Yeah,
version of the game, and then you could obviously
from
run
Walmart.
it through. Yeah. Well, yeah. Play that way. But this reminds me a lot of like when you got me into Half-Life more than a few years, five or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I knew nothing about Half-Life at all, zero. And you're like, dude, you gotta play this game.
Half-Life for years, for years since 2007, I think, has been like my favorite PC shooter sci-fi series, and just the whole mythos around it,
Right.
And it's been for years, and I just remember being in and around that same time that you were trying to get me to play Silent Hill, which was completely accessible for me at the time. In the same way, I was always trying to get you to play the Half-Life series for years.
And it really took Black Mesa to get me to dive into that. And I feel like Silent Hill 2 Remake is a really good, what's the word? Like a really good jumping point to like get people back into the original franchise. Granted, it's not the original game, but it is so close to just being perfect. There's just very minor changes, but every minor change that Bloober did really just added to the story. There's nothing I can say I didn't like that. Literally, there was no point in my 20 plus hour playthrough that I said, I don't like that thing. That was dumb. Even the minor things they changed were just so good, and it just added to the story.
And that's kind of interesting to me to hear, like, because I'm very interested ultimately in like it's kind of the things that you picked up on or were expecting that because to me, I was very lucky. I'm just gonna, I actually have, if I can, I'm just gonna list off some things here. This is all I knew about Silent Hill 2, period, before I went into this at all. Like serious. I knew it existed, obviously, but seriously, this is my experience with Silent Hill, straight up. All right. I played Silent Hill Downpour for about 90 minutes. I'm getting that echo again, by the way.
Sorry.
That damn thing. Maybe it's me. I think my mic is just, maybe it's me because I'm naturally a loud person. So,
right.
You know what? We might just have to deal with that ultimately. Sorry, everybody. But all right. So you just in a desperate Hail Mary attempt to get me to play anything Silent Hill related, you had me play Silent Hill Downpour. You came over to my house one day and you were like, dude, play this new game, Silent Hill Downpour. I played like 90 minutes of it. I got to a part where I'm supposed to walk down some stairs. It never ended. And I was getting really confused. And you told me to turn around and there was a door and I was really confused.
Just turn around.
Yeah, and I cut the damn game off. I played 90 minutes of it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm actually in the camp of like Silent Hill Downpour was actually okay. It's not completely.
I got to give it another
accurate.
try because from what I remember,
I hope you own a PS3 because Konami gonna Konami, and they did not.
Oh,
they
God
do
damn it.
not. You know, I don't know why they're like
Konami,
that. Yeah,
and Konami.
I
is
just
the
love how
worst.
like the only easily quote unquote easily accessible like game on Steam at least is Homecoming. They do have Silent Hill 4: The Room on GOG.
Isn't that the worst one?
It is. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's horrible. Yeah, it's.
But like I
it's
said
not
before, all right. So I played PT. Everyone, I already mentioned that. I didn't play Silent Hill 1, but I did watch it. I watched someone play the whole game.
Yeah, same here.
On
I didn't.
Obviously,
have a PS1
we're talking about accessibility.
Yeah, right.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
It's even worse the farther back you go. And then the movies, which is hilarious because the second one came out on your freaking birthday.
Yeah.
And for your birthday gift, I was like, hey, yo, you want to check out that new Silent Hill joint? I'm sitting in there watching it. I'm just thinking, okay, this is just a funny, well, not really funny, but like, it's just a kind of a silly, kind of an interesting premise, horror movie, whatever. And it's fine. I was eating popcorn. I was having a good time. Oh, hell no. You were just, you were sitting there steaming so fucking bad. And I was just like, I don't even know what he's pissed about.
Yeah.
After playing this game, though, I now see why you were pissed at both of these movies, actually. Despite it's such a love-hate relationship with them, because it's like when I watched them at first, I was like, okay, this is whatever. This is fine, because I had no connection.
Yeah.
But you made me watch, essentially. Well, not that you didn't make me watch, but the birthday, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's because of you that I watched both of these movies, and you're just miserable both times.
Yeah, it's just I feel like Konami just doesn't have it. Sometimes I feel like they don't even understand their franchise. They're just like, oh, pyramid sales, so let's just shove them in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing.
But now that you've
so
played
I knew that
Silent Hill Remake, you understand where he's from and why he's unique to.
Yeah,
James.
that's the thing. That was one of the things. It's like, yeah, I did know that Pyramid Head existed before all this, but it's mostly just because of the movies and because he's iconic.
Right.
And I knew from you that everyone gets pissed anytime he appears anywhere else. So I was like, okay, so this is like the OG one. And yeah, exactly. I do understand entirely why. I have been listening to the soundtrack though.
Oh my God,
years,
dude.
which is really funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny to think about because of you, ultimately, always talking about this game. I guess I spoiled tracks for myself because I knew the music before going into this, but that actually kind of enhanced it.
You can't go wrong, man. Like honestly, like in 1 through 4, like all those like the soundtracks are so good. I listen to them on my car on the way to work all the time. It's just so good. Despite
being completely blind to this game, I was able to still have that moment of, oh, I recognize that song.
Yeah.
That's that song that I listened to, or that is some.
It was in the background of something. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you just notice that,
Such a nice little nod.
And I knew the jokes. I knew like some of the meme came out. Most notably, the fact that there was a fat guy eating pizza.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal.
This town is full of monsters. How can you just sit there and eat pizza? Yeah.
Yeah, that shit. Everyone that shit. I had no idea. I was just like, I don't know what the fuck the context is on this.
Oh, it's kind of funny. So yeah.
Yeah, but and then also the fact that there is a joke ending where it's just turns out to just be a dog sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
I knew that everybody knows that,
Yeah.
But
you know what I know?
Yeah, apparently,
I know that you own like James's jacket, literally. It probably came from Old Navy, but it looks just like it.
No, it's I actually have it right here. I swear to God. I've owned this jacket since 2008. Unironically, it's a Legendary Goods. Let me read the label.
There you go.
This is a genuine Legendary Goods garment crafted with the finest materials. The attention to detail and commitment to quality is unsurpassed. Now that it is yours, do what you want. Wear and tear encouraged for best results. And hell yeah, I've been wearing this thing since 2008. And the whole time, and yeah, I mean, this thing makes a great James Sunderland costume.
Dog, it's the Northeast, man. He's got to stay warm. You know what I mean?
I know I'm not kidding. Like, it is his jacket. Like, it's complete doppelganger of the Remake's jacket. It's pretty crazy. And this is before, and yeah, this was even before even you played the game. So yeah. I've just unironically owned this guy's jacket. Plus, I'm 29, which is the same age as James. So for someone to just completely go in blind, I had no idea anything about this story. I didn't know where it was going to go. And, just the idea that, it's very easy for me to kind of slip into his shoes in a way. Because
given the game is given the age of the game, it's very easy to get spoiled. I was very surprised that you were not spoiled, because that is the next thing I really want to talk about. And it's going to be the intro of the game. Is there anything else you really want to talk about before we kind of start diving, tipping our toes in?
I mean, I really do. I kind of do just want to dive into this. I want to give essentially my thoughts on it. I mean, can we just get into that? Like, well, yeah, fuck it. Let's dive in.
All right, let's go ahead and start talking about it. Because I want to set like the preface first, which is what is real and what is Silent Hill messing with James, pretty much.
That's the thing. There's a lot of shit in this that I mean, everything in this game fucks with you.
Yeah.
And I'm really not kidding. Like, everything in this game fucks with you. I mean, seriously, the town fucks with you. The map fucks with you. Like, seriously, the map that you play in, it fucks with you. And the map that you're looking at too, sometimes that fucks with you. The story, it fucks with you. The characters, especially them, they fuck with you. The enemies, you can bet, they fuck with you. The combat, in a roundabout way, fucks with you too. The enemies, when they attack you and shit like that, trying to get you. Because there's the thing, I want to preface this here. I played on the hardest. I played this blind, so no hints. I had played with no hints whatsoever. Had no idea what the whole game had in store for me. Nothing. I played this on the hardest difficulty on both settings with no hints or nothing. It took me 40 damn hours, and it was a freaking war. I'm not kidding. Like, it was a struggle, but it was so rewarding in the end. But like, seriously, having to dodge all the attacks and stuff, and the way that the combat is like just the right amount of sluggish.
Yeah. It's got that PS2 jank in a good way.
Exactly. Like, and the puzzles. Oh my God, the puzzles fuck with you. Hell, even the hints they give you fuck with you.
Yeah.
The solutions to the puzzles, even sometimes there's more than one.
Yeah.
And they fuck with you. Okay. The sound design. I guess we'll get into this later, but hey, guess what it does? Guess what the sound design does?
Does it fuck with you?
It fucks with you. All right. Hell, your own brain starts to fuck with you after you play this game long enough. Hell, real life started to fuck with me. All right. I want you to understand something here. I have lived on this planet for 29 years. All right. Not once in my entire life have I ever had a bug crawl on me while I was playing a game. A bug fucking crawled on me while I'm playing this game at like 2 a.m. and it's pitch black night, and scared the ever-loving shit out of me.
Oh my God.
Everything. This game is absolute maximum fuckery, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, remember when I told you a couple days ago after you beat the game, you had some questions, and I said, "Hold on, let's save it for the cast.
Yeah,
chat about it later, because it's important that we kind of set the ground rules on what actually happened between James and his wife." I kind of want to ask you
that real quickly. There's a couple of really small ones that, I guess we'll get into other ones later, but like, so you don't know what the hell those Polaroids were about?
Not off the top of my head, no. I'm not going to sit here and claim to be the Silent Hill 2 OG like lore master, but I know a lot about it, and I really like it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what the Polaroids are about. They actually kind of screwed with me a bit, because I thought that they were like parts of the solution to things, and when I found out that it was like, oh no, these are just everywhere.
Yeah, now that I'm done with the game, even I am over here like, yo, I still have questions. Like something doesn't seem right. And
those memory moments, I know that we talked about that.
Yeah.
We mentioned one time is like, yeah, there's these memory moments. What are they supposed to be? Apparently they're references to the original game, but
Sure.
they're not very like obvious, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, and
It's-
still there are still some of them because I've seen like most, if not all, of like 1 through 4, and it's like what does that really mean? I don't necessarily remember this moment in particular. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a
Yeah.
okay. I wish they had explained that like kind of in the game, so it's not so like oh okay, what is this? You know what I mean? But still,
Well,
I
I don't
thought it
know.
was a cool
They're supposed
addition.
to
It's
be Easter
definitely
eggs.
yeah, right, yeah. But
I guess they're supposed to be Easter egg, but I did notice that like even Maria will react to some of them. She reacted to
right,
2 now that I think about it.
yeah.
Uh, some building, yeah, it was like some apartment building.
Let's talk about that later.
Whatever. And now for my most burning question, in all actuality, maybe this has a simple answer, maybe it doesn't. I'm very confused on one primary thing here. The timeline of everything doesn't seem to add up with one character, and that is Laura. Now, this is the way that my brain racked it, okay? Now, like I said, I've been listening to this soundtrack for about as long as you've known this game, basically, since you've introduced me to everything on it. The theme of the game is called Theme of Laura. And in the game, until I found out that her name was Laura, I was like, I don't know who Laura is. And then once it was like, oh, Laura's a little girl. Well, the fact is like it was very strange to me. It's like that, she's not reacting to nothing. It's like, what the hell's a little girl doing here? How does she know everybody? It just seemed very strange to me. I had a theory, a working theory that I was totally comfortable with, that she is just the childlike personification of Silent Hill. She's about as real as Mary is. Or not Mary, Maria. She's about as real as Maria, just kind of like a figment, but like actual personification of Silent Hill itself. But she exists purely to fuck with James's perception, because as soon as she leaves the story is like when he when he finds out what he did and the guilt that he has and all that, and it's like, okay, oh shit. Or at least when we find out what he did, I think that maybe he knew the whole time. It was just kind of in denial of it. But,
right. I'm personally in the camp of like the Laura is real camp, but we got.
Yeah, that's the thing. You told me that she was real, and
in my opinion, I believe that Laura is real. But to get to that, we need to talk about one thing first.
Oh yeah, what's that one thing?
It's James's wife. How long ago did she die?
That's the problem. That's the thing that I have with it, because Laura. That's what I'm saying. Like Laura's got to be existing just to fuck with it.
Since Mary,
because she's talking about, it's like, oh, I just freaking met her. Yeah, she's the ghost at the hospital. Ha ha. Yeah, I just met her. I just turned 8 fucking 5 days ago. Oh, whatever.
How long?
It's like,
do you think it was
3 years?
Mary died.
3 years.
What did she die of?
It's very clearly 3 years. She died of, well, she died because James smothered her with a pillow. Because she had, in her disease, it's a mix of things. She wasn't handling her passing well.
Remember when I said we were going to talk about some things, and it was going to blow your mind?
Not to blame it on her, obviously. It's.
Remember when I said we were going to talk about some things, and you were going to be like, "Oh my god, how did I not notice that?"
Yeah,
this is going to be that moment. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. And the opening cinematic of the game, we see James in a mirror. He's touching his face, making sure he's real. Bro's been through some trauma. You never know. We move forward. We see on his hand.
Psyching himself up.
On his hand. He's missing his ring.
Wedding ring.
Recently.
I noticed that.
Correct. Recently.
Yeah, that was one thing I took note of. I was like, okay, so he's been wearing this thing probably up until like only, let's say, like about a week ago or so. And he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. And then that's when he gets the letter. It's,
recently he has taken his ring off. He's got a little bit of a tan line. Yeah. Maybe even like a.
He's been wearing it for these 3 years up until, I guess, fairly recently.
After that, we get to the overlook the Toluca Lake overlook. And he explains that his wife died of that damn disease 3 years ago. What's the first thing you did after that whole spiel went down? What did you do?
I went to the car and got the map.
I'll tell you what I did. I tried to leave the town and I got an achievement for it. But you're correct. You went to the car to read the map. Did you look in the back seat?
I still got to do that, by the way. I don't remember there being anything in the back seat. Maybe like, I don't know.
In the back seat of James's car is a blanket.
Oh.
A blanket covered in forget-me-not flowers. Underneath that blanket is the body of Mary. Mary died just before Silent Hill 2 started. Literally, James drove to Silent Hill to go...
Wait, what?
James drove to Silent Hill to go kill himself.
Wait, what? Hey.
James killed his wife earlier that day, but she died of that damn disease 3 years ago. She was dead to him 3 years ago when she became frustrated for being sick. So sick she couldn't... What's the word?
Wait. Hang on.
She couldn't be lovey-dovey with him anymore. Sick
Wait a minute.
of being around everyone. But earlier that day, James...
What the fuck?
Earlier that day, James smothered his wife with a pillow and drove to Silent Hill to kill himself, which is basically the in-water ending. Mary was in the back seat the whole time.
What the fuck?
I told you it was gonna blow your mind.
What the fuck, James? Hang on. Wait.
It's hard to see without this. Obviously, someone got the camera unlocked
Is
for
that
this.
No fucking shit? That's in the beginning of the game?
It's in the beginning of the game.
Hang on.
It was always there.
Wait. Wait a minute, dude. We just fucking watched the... I just showed you the ending that I got not too long ago. The one that... Yeah. I was getting pissed at you because you kept pausing it because I was like, bro, the moment he's like, he looks in the back seat of the car and she's not there.
Why do you think he looked there?
Wait a minute.
She was there. You can see it. You can see the blanket.
What the fuck? That is so fucking weird.
She was always there.
What the fuck? That makes it so much worse.
Exactly.
What the hell? What the fuck? Hang on. So
Mary was in Silent Hill with James.
Laura is definitely fucking real then. Because that makes it all make sense.
Mary, listen to me, stop. Mary was always in Silent Hill with James because James killed her that day, if not just a few hours or an hour or so beforehand. James drove to Silent Hill to kill himself with Mary in the back seat. They were both going to go down into Toluca Lake.
Because that was their special place.
That was their special place. Laura received a letter from Mary a few days prior. That is how Laura received the letter. Laura is real. Laura is a real person. In fact, according to, I believe it was the novelization, I may be wrong, Laura was supposed to be adopted by Mary. Laura met Mary in the hospital. Laura is an orphan at the Silent Hill Orphanage. She said that in the letter. Exactly. They were going to adopt... Mary wanted to adopt her into James and her family, and they were going to live happily ever after, but they never got the opportunity because of what James did.
So Mary is literally just a fucking corpse in the backseat of this car from the very fucking beginning. And he's acting like he don't know this shit? Okay.
When you read the letter, what happened after the Eddie fight?
It disappeared.
The letter never existed. It literally was not there. James literally had a mental episode and completely made the letter up. It was never there. And when he comes to realize what he's done, the letter's gone. He realizes his wife is dead, and he has to face his guilt by the end of the game. Mary was always in Silent Hill, in the back of James's car.
This fucking game, bro. This fucking game keeps fucking with you.
It's crazy.
No. Hang on. So what you're telling me is this. All right, let me see if I got this right. Okay. Laura's definitely fucking real then, because my whole issue was the timeline. So that shit was not fucking 3 years ago. This shit is like so she got sick 3 years ago.
And that was when all this shit started going down. To James.
Yeah, because James couldn't fucking handle the fact that, you know, she was sick. She wasn't handling it well. He was falling out of love, kind of getting detached, probably emotionally in order to do like, because that's, you know, people handle trauma kind of fucking weird. Yeah, started thinking. I can tell.
Once you reach heaven's night, you can tell by the look on his face. He's like super uncomfortable because he knows he shouldn't drink it.
Yeah, that's the thing. They lingered way too long on that shot for it to mean anything else. It was like, yeah, so clearly this guy is he definitely wants to drink it.
Yeah,
but he's tempted to drink it. But so I picked up on that. That in a mix, and also just like not trusting Maria. But still, it's like there's a lot of, and then like going about it like killing his wife. That's it's there's so many layers to that.
I told you I told you I was gonna blow your mind when we spoke about this.
But the thing is, he kills his wife, and this little girl Laura is real and all that, because the timeline would add up if he killed his wife then and there. Brings her to Silent Hill to kill himself. And because it was their special place, and he was going to bury them both in the water. As soon as he gets to Silent Hill, because this town fucks with you. It is your own personal purgatory. It senses his torment. It senses all that shit immediately. And when he gets out into that fucking bathroom, it's like the town combines itself with like the mental episode of that James is going through. It basically makes this man like just reinvent history in a way and just go down this path. It's like,
he was in my brain.
You have a connection to Silent
Hill. It never
Hill.
explains like why, but I'm pretty sure it's like this was so traumatic for him. By the time he got to Silent Hill and it was time for him to do what he came there to do, he had completely mentally blocked it. He was gone he's like, dude, you know, he gets to the mirror. He's all right. I gotta find Mary. Where's it? We're at a special place. I have to find Mary. That I think in my brain, that's how James handled that. In my brain, that's like, totally my interpretation. As soon
as my interpretation of that, based on what you have just told me,
I'm not telling you. I'm sure that's her in the back seat right there. That is her. That is her.
That's fucking crazy. That's so crazy to me.
I cannot believe this game has been out for 20 plus years and you never knew that. It's like the most common.
It's not like I go around. It's not like I go around fucking looking up Silent Hill 2.
So it's like, don't look at any spoilers because I gotta talk to you about this.
Yeah, that's wild. That was another thing too. This has been torturing me for so long because ever since I beat this game several days ago.
Yeah.
I had a whole thing
probably
about that.
Pushing 2 weeks about it. But I've been busy.
Yeah, basically.
I've been busy on the channel. Went to Texas. Went to North Carolina. You know, been busy.
Yeah, and you've been telling me. Yeah. We got breakfast when you showed up.
Yeah.
But you've been telling me this whole time. You're like, yeah. Don't look up shit on Silent Hill 2. I want to tell you some shit.
Yeah.
But this has been a freaking torture because it's like this game was so incredible. I was like, man, I really gotta see some more shit. I gotta hear people talking. You're like, no.
Yeah.
And now I see why. Holy shit. I really do think when he went into that bathroom, it was like because Silent Hill calls to people that have like a connection to it in one way or another is my interpretation of it. So, and just that's the way fate works.
Right.
That's the way that that's the reason why Angela and Eddie and Laura and James are all here and experiencing different Silent Hills is because they're all in a way like, you know, they're being called here for this fateful reason, essentially.
Did you say James Silent Hills?
God damn it! I will never not be upset about that. Like seriously,
Yeah,
I
we'll
will
never
hold
forgive
that over
Konami
my-
over that one.
No, literally
Ridiculous.
never.
Ridiculous.
Literally, even after this incredible piece of art that they most assuredly had no idea that Bloober Team was even making.
Yeah.
I will never forgive them. Still, but like I will never give them the rope that they most certainly deserve to hang with.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right? Silent Hill is a town that fucks with you on a mental level, on a psychological level.
Yeah.
James being incredibly vulnerable, literally on the end of his rope, like about to die, with his wife in the fucking back seat of his fucking car.
Yeah.
The town did this to him. Plain and simple. The town made him temporarily forget, gave him a note, a letter that actually technically did exist, because it is a letter that, or at least the beginning of a letter that Mary wrote. It's just that it's not, it was manifested by the town.
That
it's
letter
not
never
a real
existed.
thing.
It was not real.
Well, what about in the Leave ending? When he does get a letter, and it's like, and Laura talks about how there were 2 letters. That's what I'm saying. It's like the letter he's holding in his hand is not real. That's manifested by the town, but it is based on Mary's words.
Sure.
At least in the beginning part.
Sure. Yes.
So using that, it just sends him down his own personal purgatory, and it uses the fact that he's sort of it represses that whole reason why he's here. It completely screws with his head, and it takes that videotape to snap him out of it. And as soon as he's snapped, it's like, because the acting in that scene, oh my God.
Right.
The acting, dude, the look on his face when he's just like, oh. It's just like everything just comes right back to him. He's like, oh, yep. Yeah, I did that shit. Like that,
Exactly.
It's just, oh my God, man. Holy fuck. Wow. Wow. That's really in the beginning of the game. So if I were to boot up the game right now and I were to go to that car, I would see fucking Mary's corpse.
It's very hard to see without unlocking the camera, but you can see the edge of her, the blanket that she's under. Yes, that is in the game. That is real. That has always been a thing.
And that makes the ending.
And most people know that. So I'm very surprised you didn't get spoiled. That's actually very surprising that was not spoiled.
That makes the ending even more fucking crazy, because when the ending to In Water, my favorite part of it is when he's sitting in the car and he's literally going to himself and he's saying, like, he says, you know, I know this isn't what you would have wanted. He's talking to Mary.
Right.
Like, I know this isn't what you would have wanted, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. You're not here, are you? And he waits a little bit and turns around, and my favorite part is like the idea is just like he turns around just in the most last fucking desperate hope to see his wife, and of course, empty back seat, she ain't there, and then he drives off a fucking bridge.
Yeah.
That to me was so impactful. But now that it's my favorite part of that is when he turns around and she's not there. But you mean to tell me that she was actually fucking there as a corpse?
Since I've seen the In Water ending, you can see like the edge of like a blanket back there. You can also see like do you think he looked in the back seat for like no reason? Like he looked in the back seat because he knows.
I thought he looked in the back seat because it's like, this is literally it. It's like, look, man, I just went literally through a psychological horror.
Right.
I'm about to start this car up and drive off a cliff.
Sure. But the whole
when the camera goes to
the back seat, and then you see James turning his head to look, that is acknowledgement that he knows that she's back there.
What? That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
That totally changes the ending to me. Oh yeah, this holy shit, bro. This game fucks with you,
dude. It
does.
Oh
my God,
it does, man.
It's been so long since I beat. Well, not so long, but it's been a while since I beat this game, and that changes a lot.
Right.
That answers a lot. I gotta look up some shit. I gotta hear some YouTubers talk about this shit. This is wild.
I want to blow your mind some more, but I'm enjoying this conversation right now.
I cannot. That That's wild. I'm serious. Like I did not. That was not on my radar, man. Like period. That was just straight up not on my radar. I was not gonna assume that at all. Like, and I guess that makes sense because that means that because Lord, because then she would be real.
Yeah.
That's the. Yeah, see that answered that right there answered my questions. I don't think I have anymore. I think I've perfectly understood.
Right.
Wow, that's
So what's your take on the red squares though?
Oh yeah, that's another question I had. I actually forgot about that. My take on the red squares is I think obviously, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about as a game mechanic? Because if you're talking about that,
Well,
it's just about as plain obvious
obviously,
as
yeah.
it exists.
But
It
they're
exists.
everywhere.
It's just like
They're
there
over the
doesn't
nurses'
need
mouths.
it
They're on the
doesn't.
walls. They're at the end. You get the 9. So it's like
I didn't catch that. You said they meant that they had it over the nurses' mouths. I didn't see that. I just thought it was like more of the blood than gut stuff that they were already covered in. I didn't notice any of the red squares on them. I'm not saying that there aren't. I'm just saying I didn't notice any.
right.
But because I don't see how that would correlate. Because to me, the red squares have always just been. It's like obviously they're supposed to just be these weird things because they don't want to explain a save game mechanic. But I always just sort of seen it as an unknowing fourth wall break, almost like he's the only one that can see these things. And obviously he's looking at us when it's not that he's or anything like that,
Right.
but it's like it's almost like he's consulting the wisdom of the fourth wall
Yeah.
and doesn't even know that he's doing it because it's like the ability to have the fourth sight knowledge of whatever you did before you reloaded a save, so to speak. You know what I mean? Just these weird little moments that keep him on track.
I almost feel like
That's just
the
kinda
red
what I
squares
figured.
is like repressed memory. Or in this game, you could argue it is memory because you are saving at that point. You know what I mean? I'm sure this has been debated for like years. But like I said,
That's the
I'm not a
beauty of
Silent Hill
the
2 lore
abstract.
master, but it's just such a strange and awesome mechanic. And just to have it
Yeah.
show up in like random places is like sometimes you'll be walking and there's a red light. And you're like, man, what is this for? You know, in my brain, it's like, maybe it's something he remembers, you know?
Well, everything kind of has that's one of the things that I loved about this game is that everything in it has a purpose that leads to one thing or another, even so much as the song that you keep hearing on the piano, just those four keys. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man.
You hear that everywhere. They
Akira
talk
did
about how
just such a great job on the soundtrack, and just hearing it
Yeah,
like not remade, but like what's a good word? Remastered almost, you know?
well, it's like
Because
they
it's
literally
not
told the
different. It's
man.
not different at all.
I'm about
Because
to say,
it's just amazing
well,
the
it
way it
kinda
is.
is, but it's like they literally told the man, they said, "Hey, yo, go back to the studio. You know that really genius piece of work you did?
Do
Do
it
it
again,
again, but
but
just
in
a
this
little
better
different."
microphone.
Yeah, basically, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like, there are a lot of songs, like for example, like Overdose Delusion. I've been listening to that song for years, and I like the new version as its own thing. That's the beauty of it. Is like you can have the old soundtrack's not going anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like now we just have
Dude,
a
like
new
there are
like
multiple
a
songs during the
B-side
game
almost.
that I'm like, this is untouched. Like it is not.
Yeah,
They didn't change any of it. And then there's some
I
songs
think
where they added,
Black Fairy
like they
has
had the
changed.
original, and then they just added just a little bit on top. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, that sounds great. You know?
Well, that song, the piano. So the song is supposed to be clearly referencing the fact that Mary, she played the piano but didn't really play it well. So she just plays like these four notes, and that's a little song that she made. The damn thing's called Magdalene. The song is called Magdalene. Now I don't know if you know anything biblical, but Mary Magdalene is a character in the Bible, and
Yeah.
it's Jesus's friend who used to be like, she used to be a prostitute, and then she became one of his followers. And if you go by the Da Vinci Code, his lover, if you go in that route. But Mary Magdalene was a very that's a important person, so to
Right.
speak. And The song's called Magdalene. It references Mary. It's like everything just kind of has and plus on top of that, Maria being literally like an exotic dancer, but also being this amalgamation of everything that Mary looked like but never was,
Right.
so to speak. And it, like, especially at the end,
Yeah.
and just the constant battle that he had to that James probably had to deal with between still being in love with his wife, albeit falling out of love with it, probably as a defense mechanism, just kind of just dealing with the coldness of that's coming.
Yeah.
Just sometimes like that's the fucky thing about people. People don't really know how they're gonna deal with things when they happen. They like
Exactly.
to think that they would handle everything lovey-dovey and perfect, but humans are very imperfect. And I think that this perfectly reflects that. This story is something that deals with a very heavy situation. And it's like it seems right at the very beginning. It's very clear cut. It's like, yeah, it's like James is, oh, my wife died of a disease. Oh, I'm so sad. I love her so much. I'm here to try to find her and save her in our special place. Ah. And then as the game goes on, it's like you get the sense that, James is kind of hiding something, isn't all the way there. And then as the game goes on, like you get the sense that like with Mary, especially the revealing about it, how she wasn't like how she would lash out
Right.
at him and stuff.
She even
because
says
she
it.
was
Yeah.
scared.
She's like, look,
Yeah,
I was an
she was
asshole
so
to you.
scared to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just the reveal of like how far that this had driven to the point where it's like he was so desperate to get his life back that he felt the need to speed up. Like that's the thing is in his head it was probably very much a justification of it's like, look, she's dying, it's inevitable, she's gonna die anyway.
For 3
Why do
years,
I?
he dealt with
Yeah,
that.
but it's not. But that's the thing. It's all just bullshit justification. Because in reality, he
Yeah.
was like, I'm just sick of this, and that's a very real thing to go through. People
Yeah.
don't like to talk about that shit, but that is very real. I've had, when you watch people, like for example, like people who die of dementia, which my family is very familiar with. You do go through a lot of kind of sick because this is a person that you love, but they're deteriorating and they will inevitably die. But part of dementia is that you lose parts of your brain that deal with like emotional control, and you start having outbursts of tantrums and all these different really bad, heavy things.
Right.
And it's tough to deal with, totally realistic for people, even people that you love, to be like, I kind of just want her to die. Not that you really like saying that, but you're just so, you know what I mean? Like it's not unrealistic for people to go through these emotions, is what I'm saying. It's a very
Right.
complicated thing, and to see that replicated so well in a game and
In a
it's such
video
a
game.
heavy,
Yeah.
in such a heavy way too, because it's dealing with an actual murder.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of wild, and it makes sense because it's like the whole game. You get the sense is like, oh, James is depressed because he's
Yeah, and at the
so,
beginning, like you want to root for him, you're playing him.
yeah,
Like you want to, it's like,
he,
oh, James, we're
he's
gonna get out of
clearly
this. We're gonna get your
suicidal.
wife, James. We got this, man. Come on, let's go. Get up,
Yeah, that's me the whole time.
Yeah.
That's literally me all the way up until the videotape. But
Yeah.
dude, like, but yeah, at the beginning of the game, you get the sense you're just like, oh man, this guy. I mean, clearly he's freaking suicidal to an
Yeah.
extent. He's that depressed because he doesn't care what's gonna happen to him. He's that beat up about the death of his wife. Wow.
Right.
And then as the game goes on, you're like, oh well, he's guilty about something. Maybe he wasn't there for her. Maybe Maria represents infidelity. Maybe as he was falling out of love, he cheated on her or something like that's you.
Yeah.
That you start to. That was me. I was thinking that was his big sin.
Right.
His bigs is like, oh, I feel so guilty because I wasn't there for my wife and I cheated on her while she was sick. Oh my God, I'm such a terrible person. And it's like, buddy, there is something much worse on that tape.
Yeah, for real.
Like, much worse than a fucking sex tape.
Well,
Let me tell you that
speaking
right
of
quick.
James's guilt, let's talk about our Lord and Savior, Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
Damn, he looks
Now,
good.
You may not like it, but that's peak male performance right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Couldn't look any better. Couldn't look any better.
Yeah,
But,
that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, he just, they did so well. They did his gloves perfectly where some of his fingers fuse. They did the whole like
Yeah, he
The
had webbed
pyramid
hands.
helmet. Yeah. The whole pyramid helmet is just perfect. By the way, like the helmet represents the heaviness of James's guilt,
Guilt.
worn upon
Yeah.
his head, worn upon his shoulders, dragging him down. And I
And
don't.
it's the fact it's a pyramid, which is representative of the executioners
Yeah.
from Silent Hill's, historic
Yep.
past.
Yeah.
Uh, it you just get this whole sense. It's like it's a mix between his desire, his subconscious desire, to suffer for what he did to Mary. I mean, for God's sake, you just added another layer to it tonight by telling me that he came here to literally die.
Yeah.
So it's like the town
That's
made him
why,
forget
like,
that.
In
But it's
Water,
not going to let him forget that.
In Water is just like it is like the canon ending, even though like it's not like, but it is.
That just adds another question. If everyone talking about the Leave ending is the fucking happy one, and so him and Laura just walk off into the sunset, the fuck they gonna do when they get back to the car?
Yeah.
Fucking Mary's rotting in the back seat. I swear to God. Look, I'll put it this way. All right. In Water is what actually happened. Okay.
Yeah.
In Water is what actually happened. And the Leave ending is what you tell your fucking 9-year-old daughter when you're telling her the story so that way she can go to bed at night. It's like, well, what did James do after? Well, I'm not going to tell my daughter that he fucking found himself in the lake.
They walked off and it was happily ever after.
Yep. Well, Laura just forgave him immediately, and they all walked off happily ever after, and the police never questioned what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he met Mary, and they reconciled. Oh, Mary was so forgiving. Oh, what a happy ending. Silent Hill. Yes, so good. Now go to bed, honey. Yeah, no, fuck no. That didn't fucking happen. No, hell no. That man is at the bottom of the lake with the other 7 fucking lifeless corpses staring up blankly into the. Oh my God, this game. Yeah. This freaking game, man. Wow. I have been looking forward to talking to you about this game for a very long time.
Join the club, man. But like I was saying, like Pyramid Head, like I said, like the helmet represents
Pyramid Head, baby.
His guilt, his giant, the great knife. I don't know if you noticed, but it looks like one half of a scissor. That's because him and James are one and the same. James is in Pyramid Head. They're a duality. You know what I mean? James is James is an everyman. He's kind of he worked in an office. You know, he's kind of like
Pyramid Head killed me more than any other freaking mobster in the game. Like, I'm serious. This motherfucker. I only had died once. I'm playing this on hard, by the way. I've been playing video games since I was in diapers in one way or another. So I've actually gotten pretty damn good at them. So I wanted a freaking challenge. Okay, and even then, I had only died one time to this stupid damn mannequin up until this point. As soon as this son of a bitch, it came down to me and him, this guy freaking killed me like 30 times. I'm really not kidding. He murdered me. I have died by his hands more than any other monster in this game. He is a terrifying presence throughout. He is spectacularly done in this game. It is excellent. This way... and just what he represents too, exactly like what you were just talking about, like which and part of that is like his introduction, which was fucking freaky as hell. Like like him, what did he sexually assault that mannequin? Is that what I saw there? Is that what actually happened? Because that's what it looked like.
Especially when he says no, but our lying eyes say yes. So it's whatever you want to think. I'm in the camp of
looked like it.
I mean, if you think about it, like I said, James is like he's an office dude. He's an everyman.
Sexually repressed man.
But
I mean, he has. I mean, clearly that's a part of it when you're
his duality.
You're not going to be happy.
His duality would be super strong and super have great male characteristics. You know what I mean? Or actually, not so great, but yeah.
It's kind of interesting though, because it's like this is one of the things that I find very fascinating about this game is that it's willing to touch subjects that media straight up today just
would
doesn't
never
ever
talk
like
about.
Even or if it does, it just wouldn't do it with the maturity that this game does, because it's very clear. It's like, look, man, like Yeah, obviously, when you have a wife that's sick in this way, with that's like I said, that's a part of this thing that people don't expect to have to deal with in their life.
Yeah.
Is you're not going to be able to make love with your partner, and I've noticed that with the game, all the monsters, like all of them, except for Pyramid Head, are very feminine in their design and everything. It's
Yeah.
all feminine based. Everything. I mean, the body bag, the sick body bags. They still have like they were still wearing high heels. Like the nurses, the mannequins are just literally just two sets of legs sewn on
Yeah.
top of each other.
You can tell like James's sexual repression is like coming
It's
out in just
it's
the
a
biggest
demon.
monstrous evil way it can, and that's just
Probably because that's part of the reason why he was driven to kill Mary, is because it's like he said, I wanted you out of the way. I wanted my life back. It's
yeah,
like that's probably part of it, because people don't really understand with it's when you're dealing with shit like people don't know what the hell they're gonna react like, and it's so
yeah,
fucked that James reacted this way.
yeah,
And it's interesting to me because it's like, of course, because Silent Hill attracts people of a like mind. It essentially through fate brought him there and said, "Hey, you want to end your life here? I'm gonna send you through your own personal hell, your own personal purgatory first to see if you can actually make it out to the other side." And he does make it out to the other side, but he still can't forgive himself for that.
yeah,
That's so much more impactful to me. Like that's a Greek tragedy level of, that's exactly what would happen in like a Greek tragedy, is
right,
just the lesson is learned, but people die. and
yeah.
it's endings in games, man. They wreck me. They genuinely wreck me. The worst ones in Cyberpunk. That
Oh yeah,
the
don't even
one
get
that's
me
in that game
started.
is so.
Yeah, that's
That
bad.
I'm telling you, I think every depressed individual on the face of this earth needs to see that, because the credits, especially because it is the perfect like anti-suicide PSA ever, because you really get the understanding of the impact of what something like that does.
Right.
And of all the games to do that, I find it interesting how this one actually has a QR code, that because it's just the
Yeah, dude.
level
Like
of
when you
shit.
boot up this remake, they're like, "Look, dog, this is going to deal with some shit that's rough." You know what I mean? And it is
Oh yeah,
rough. Speaking of rough,
very rough.
we may as well get into it. Angela was done
Oh
so
hell,
well. I mean, she was
yeah,
done dirty. Like
easily.
the town of Silent Hill. Like, whew, man, dude. Like it went
This
hard. It went
character
rough on her. But
This character
Bloober
hit me so
understood her
fucking hard.
story and told it so respectfully. And so they didn't censor anything. They didn't change. Well, anything that was changed, it was done to just enhance her story.
Yeah,
Help me
apparently they
admire her.
added stuff, if anything.
Yeah. And I just feel like there's not a lot of games that would touch a story like Angela's. It's a very sad story. And just Bloober handling that with care is something I did not have in mind that they would do, that anyone would really do nowadays. So I figured they would have changed it completely, especially the abstract Eddie looking exactly the way it looks. If you know the way that looks, it's very
Yeah.
obvious what is going on and the way it affected
Mhm.
Angela's backstory. And yeah, I'm just glad
That
Bloober
fight,
didn't pull it or didn't hold back when it comes to
I can
talking about stories like
100%
this.
see. I can 100% see why the fan base was so concerned
Yeah,
about the lead up to this game, because obviously we all know the history of Silent Hill, how they've been dragged through the fucking mud for years. They had the whole canceling of this PT, like the cash grabbiness, the fact that Bloober has kind of an ups and down track record. There was so much stuff on the list that people, and obviously I didn't know anything about like the actual story of the game going into this. But now that I do, seeing how they handled Angela specifically, uh, I can see why people who are fans of the original game would get very scared of dealing of, it's like, oh, this game is being remade. They're gonna have to touch on Angela's story. I really hope they do it justice. I can say this segment, everything that has to do with Angela is probably, it's weird to say favorite because of its subject matter.
It'll make you
but
cry, dude.
It was the part that
It'll
impacted me.
genuinely bring a tear to your eye to understand what this girl has gone through.
Oh, it did more than that. There's a moment after the Abstract Daddy fight, which, by the way, fucking masterfully done. I was so homed in when I did that fight.
Once you
I never
understood
let
what was
that
going
motherfucker
on,
ever
you
touch me.
wanted to kill him.
Yeah, absolutely. It was I was so homed in. He never even touched me. Every shot landed. It was almost like in that moment, it felt like it was just like Mary was guiding my fucking hands or something. Because
Yeah.
it was like it was a dance. I hated this thing as much as I feared it, because I immediately understood, because it's the climax of this story, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, and fighting it, and then seeing what it looks like and what it represents, and then Angela's reaction to everything. I mean, I'm a grown ass man. I don't cry vocally,
Dog, it had me.
but I
It
was
had
fucking
my
sobbing.
tear ducts like leaking, dude, for a second, dude.
I was capital S sobbing at this. It hurt so damn bad,
And that's
it's the
because
moment when it's like everything
no one
makes
else will
sense.
talk about this, like in video game. Like no one. There will never be another game like this game because everyone's too scared to talk about a subject like this. And I think that this was so respectfully done, so
I think this
done
was
in
a
a
good
way that
reminder.
you could relate to her and understand her pain. You know what I mean?
It's just handled in a very realistic way, in a way that's a little bit too. It's like when I
And
say
even in the
too
ways that she
realistic,
would react,
it
like
hurts
it's
me.
obvious when
Yeah.
when the abstract daddy's coming, you gotta hide because she has repressed memories of how she would react when that situation was happening to her.
Hell, there's a part where it's like, if you see her, she hides in like this crawl space, and if
Yeah.
you follow her in there, she isn't there. There's no way for her to leave, and yet she isn't there, despite the fact that you just saw her go into
That's
there.
the one where all
But
the
you see a
sound
little,
disappears.
yeah, like literally all
Yeah.
the crazy sounds. The daddy can't see you,
Yeah.
and it's just like all the sound stops, and you just see like this little teddy bear and just stuff where
And
it's like, yep,
I think
Angela,
that that's because like
go
in her
hide here.
mind, that is like she's finally
A safe
safe.
space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just
There's
like a
no
place where she
more
can hide that you can't get
stress.
to.
You know, there's no more hearing anything. It's just, and I think in one of them it was like a teddy bear or something like that. But it's like, oh, okay, so this is how she used to hide. You know.
Yeah, it just, yeah. Because the thing is, I just started sobbing because it's like you have questions, right? And throughout the thing, you're curious about this, that, and the other. When that fight happens, that's when it is like instantly all answered. And when it's all answered, all in the way that she's performed too, because she's sobbing. And what she's accusing James of, like it hit so precise. It immediately, like, I was just like open-eyed sobbing. And I'm telling you, Chef fucking Bloober.
Yeah.
This shit was so, like, that was when I knew. That was the moment that I knew. I was like, okay, yeah, this game, no matter what happens after this game is gonna get a 9 out of 10 at least. This absolutely got a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
I loved the shit out of this game. I'm serious. Stalker 2 isn't out yet, but this was an absolute fucking plot twist from hell. I did not expect this. I didn't. First off, just the game itself and its plot twist.
It's just so deep. Like it's like it's not nothing about this game is surface level at all. Like it is.
No.
Yeah.
You got to think,
and it won't tell you either. You could play the whole game, and if you didn't think twice about it, you'd just be like, "Oh, okay, my wife died."
Take it from someone who played this game on hard mode puzzles, blind, with no hints.
Yeah.
The answers that this game is trying to tell you is always right in front of your face. You just gotta.
And they never say it out loud.
Here.
They will never. There's nothing that is honestly just told to you. You have to.
Pun intended.
You have to find it.
Pun
you have
intended.
to reach for it. You have to go get it.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Pun intended. You have to see through the fog in order to see the answer. And because it's the thing, like it's right in front of your face the whole time, but it's clouded. It could be clouded, through your own mind or just what it is, but it's there. And Yeah, and so when this, I mean, yeah, just everything about this, everything about Eddie, like, and even Laura, like, I mean, obviously, I didn't finish like understanding Laura until just now, basically, but like, yeah, there's layers to it that it doesn't tell you outright, but you can just pick up on instinctively because we're all human, and I think that the fact that this game is now remade in a way where it's more well acted, more like human, it doesn't remove the thing that people, I guess, love about the original, which is that it's kind of uncanny. I
Yeah.
understand that because I always got the sense when I was playing this game that it's like these people feel real, but they're all
But
acting like
something's
suspicious
odd
weirdos.
about them, yeah.
Yeah,
And there's
like all of
something
them
else,
act
there's
like
something
suspicious
else too.
weirdos.
Like Angela killed her dad, and it's implied that she killed her brother. Eddie killed the dog, and then he shot his bully in the knee. Do you see the common thing here?
They all killed somebody.
They all are murderers.
Yeah,
All of them,
yeah.
except for Laura. They
Well,
all are
we don't know.
murderers.
Laura might be the worst out of all of them.
Yeah, we don't know, right? Laura might
Yeah,
be dog.
I mean,
Laura might be
hey,
a
she's an
serial killer.
orphan.
We don't know.
She's an orphan. What did she do to them parents, huh?
Yeah.
Probably killed them.
I'm going to be straight up. I don't know if Eddie's redesign really scratches that itch for me. I really like his old one. He just looked cooler. I don't know, man. He looked like he was in like high school, and I think he's in his early 20s in this or whatever. But I don't know. He just looked he looked better. I feel like this one.
I
It's
have
an
no
okay
basis
redesign.
for that.
Angela's was great. Actually, I love all of them except for Eddie's. Just doesn't scratch the itch, but it's okay.
I don't know anything about Eddie in the original other than the fact that he was eating pizza,
Yeah.
which they did not do in this game. That was one thing I took note of. I was actively trying to look for that spot where I was like, I wonder where this meme's going to pop up. It never happened. The only thing that it does is that they have a reference to it.
Yeah.
It's just like there's a small reference to it.
And I think the reason they
But-
took that out. Oh, we can add this because we just talked about Angela, but I think they took that out because even in the original game, it doesn't really fit. That's definitely one of those lines that maybe like in Japanese culture and like in it, obviously Konami is a Japanese brand. Like maybe their writers, it sounded right for them, but when you translate that to English, it just sounds goofy.
I don't know. I can't speak on what happened with Team Silent and their development or their intentions, but I do know in the original Resident Evil, they had the English voice actors to that game. That is like they're very strangely acted too. It's like stop, don't open that door, and it's because the guys there were like, well, you're gonna speak in English. We don't speak English. We know that these are the words. Say these, emphasize these because we think it sounds cool. so it's all weirdly acted, not because the actors suck, but because they were directed to sound a way. It's like, well, we really think the word stop and open sound cool. So
emphasize those words because they're cool words. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. I love shit like that. I love like the Japanese interpretations of English and American stuff. That's just kind of, it's like, it's almost right. I love shit like that. Especially their fascination with shit like Twin Peaks and stuff like that. Like, that's how you get games like Deadly Premonition and stuff like that. It's just gold. I love like little quirk stuff like that. A prime example. Obviously you think of Letterman jackets, right? You think of like a Letterman. Yeah, we know that that's Americana. It's like, you're a jock.
Yeah.
So, in high school, so you get a Letterman jacket because they hand them out to athletes. So you see a bunch of American high schoolers wearing Letterman jackets with no context. So you just think, oh, that's just what these kids wear. So then in like the Japanese, they'll make a nerdy kid and they'll have him wearing a Letterman jacket. Yeah. It's like, that kid definitely doesn't play sports.
Yeah, he doesn't. No context, like I guess.
That. Yeah, it's just like, because it's like, how would they know? They don't know that. Based on Twin Peaks never answers that question. So how the hell are they gonna know? It's just, shit like that. I love little things like that. It's so good.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't think you lose that here. I think that it's still I wouldn't say it's oddly delivered. It's still delivered in a way that's like it's realistic. It sounds authentic. It's just done in a way where it's still got that kind of like everybody's hiding something, so they're all kind of acting shifty to each other, even though they're not really trying to be. There's still kind of an awkwardness to it, but it's layered.
All right. So I really wanted to talk to you about this, but it's going to be another brain blow moment where you're like, what, really? The whole time? You know what I mean?
I'm kind of not ready for another one. I'm still like Humpty Dumpty trying to put my brain back together again after having it smashed all over the side of. Which, by the way, speaking of shit they don't tell you, think about the fucking nursery rhyme Humpty Dumpty. At what point in time do they ever actually say the motherfucker is an egg? Never.
They don't.
That's what I was talking about with the leave ending. That's what I'm talking about with the leave ending. The leave ending is just what you tell your children. That for years, people have been like, "Oh, so Humpty Dumpty smashed all over the concrete." Oh yeah, but he was an egg. He was an egg. It's all right, kids. It's totally not a guy that literally had his brains splattered all over the floor. No, it's an egg. Yeah. We'll go with that.
Yeah. So for context, I was in Texas. I was recording the vlog the whole time. That Box was doing this playthrough, so I couldn't watch Box's playthrough. I was in Texas for like a week almost, hanging out with the boys in Atom Bomb.
Really quickly, can I just tell you? I want to set the stage for you about my fucking reaction to the in water ending.
Sure.
All right. I will remember this. There's a gaming moment that I will remember for my freaking life, man. I'm telling you. I remember the day. All right. It was October 17th. It was 3 a.m, witching hour, full moon night. Full moon. I go outside on my back porch. It is still as it could be. There's no wind. There's no crickets. There's no frogs. There's nothing. It is just nothing but pale moonlight. I'm sitting there on the back porch. I got my earbuds in. I'm listening to the soundtrack. Tears flowing. Just staring into the freaking midnight sun, watching foxes dance around in the pale moonlight in my backyard. It was a moment I will never freaking forget. It's just yeah, man. I'm serious. Like, and that's a true ass story. I did that for like an hour and a half, just sitting there crying, just thinking. Because every time a song would come on, because for years I didn't know the context.
Yeah, and
now I knew the context.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I heard this, it was the Angela didn't deserve this.
She didn't, like though. I'll give it to you, man.
No, she fucking didn't. No, that's the thing. It's your own that's why it's like
Silent
it's not
Hill
literal
doesn't care.
Hell.
Silent Hill doesn't care if you're good. Silent Hill doesn't care if you're bad. Silent Hill wants their justice or the town's justice.
No, it wants you to get over your demons. Whatever those demons are.
Dead or alive.
And that's it. It's like that goes into the symbolism of the town itself and why we can all in our own way relate to it is that if you are someone who is a depressed individual or anyone with any sort of regret in life, which I imagine is probably everyone at this point, we're all in our own way stuck in our own personal Silent Hill. It is a hell that we have to deal with internally. It is a psychological thing that fucks with us on every little thing. It's a demon in our ear that makes our life hell. And we have to overcome it lest we be stuck in it forever. Just this loop of misery that will drag on.
I guess you could say we all deal with our own Silent Hills. That being said, this podcast is sponsored by MyPillow.com. God damn it.
Oh,
man. All right. I gotta talk to
you. Pillow fighting champion, 1993.
Let's go. Nah. I gotta talk to you about something though. Remember when so you watched my playthrough. You watched you watched it. Yeah. Remember when I walked up to like a body and I was like, "Do you see that guy? Does he look familiar? You remember that at all? Remember that?"
Yeah. I kept telling you.
Every time I came up to a dead body, not a dead monster, a dead body, I said, "Does that look familiar?" And he said, "No, not really."
Yeah. I don't know. Look, like I said, is that a reference to another Silent Hill game?
It gets more obvious.
Like Room 106.
It gets more obvious the further you go. This is the first one you see in the game. Look familiar?
Let me guess. It's Walter Sullivan. It's the Walter Sullivan circumcision monster.
This, in the remake, this body, since you have a free camera in the remake, in the first game, it is not covered. But in this game, it is covered because it would completely spoil it. But does this look familiar?
It's a body in a sheet. No, it doesn't look familiar. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking
at. Look at the boots. Look at the jeans. Does this look familiar? Does this look familiar? Does this look familiar? And the most obvious, once you get deeper in, does this look familiar? Every dead body in Silent Hill 2 is James. Every single body in this game is James.
You fucking know what? There was a dead body by a fucking semi-truck that I swear to God, I thought to myself, I'm like, that dude's wearing a that one. I was like, he's wearing a very similar jacket. Huh. Let me just go ahead and dump that memory forever. Oh my fucking God. So all these bodies are literally James.
Every body, every human body in Silent Hill 2 is James. It was like that in the original game. It was like that in this game. The running theory is that James is stuck in a time loop. He has been trying to get his wife or reach his wife multiple times, but he gets stopped. In this case, he got stopped by Eddie. But plot and point, there you go. In this case, he gets squished in a fridge. In this case, he gets beaten to death by a Mack truck. In this case, he gets shot in the head in front of the TV.
I think those are real bodies. I think those are actual real bodies. I just think that the town's fucking with James. And James does have a desire to die, whether he realizes it at that point in time or not. And this is just kind of his way to do that.
It is a theory.
That's how I'm interpreting
it. It is a theory that James is stuck in a time loop.
Time loop is interesting, though. Time loop is an interesting idea, but I think that might be one of those, and then everybody, it was all like...
Remember in my playthrough when I looked at this body box and I said, does this look familiar? And you said, no.
But you also got to understand, my internet sucks. I was watching you stream this at 720, 15 FPS. Yeah. I did not exactly get the best clear fucking HD.
That being said, once you get to the Eddie part here, it is obvious
that's wild.
That the dead bodies are all James. That's
fucking
one.
Weird. That's fucking weird. But yeah, that's weird. I mean, I feel like that,
and it was like that in the original too. The original game was just like this.
That's got to just be Silent Hill fucking with James then, because if all the bodies are, it's like, because that's the thing. I don't trust when you enter Silent Hill, there is not a single brick that I trust. There's not a single brick, not a single piece of gravel. There's not a single fucking grain of sand. I don't trust a damn bit of anything that of being real. Once you enter the fog and you've entered Silent Hill, it's like Silent Hill is a real geographical location in this universe. Silent Hill, Maine. Okay. It's a real town. As soon as you go there, you are no longer in the real world. You are now in Silent Hill, and then Silent Hill will then proceed to throw you all around and fuck with you. And we have seen that, and it's like a living haunted house, but it's an entire town, and its whole purpose is just to screw with you,
right?
But not just screw with you, but to screw with your emotions in a way where it's like, oh, you have demons, you have regrets, you have something that you need to overcome. Okay, well, you're stuck here, and you're not going to get out until because that's the most scary thing that I think anybody can do.
Deal with it, the video game,
because it's the most scary thing that anybody could do. Is to deal with their own, it's like a manifestation of their own demons. It's hard enough to get over your own problems without this shit.
Yeah.
But it's like in something like Resident Evil, you put the square in the square hole. Here, it's like you gotta fucking figure out, you gotta go to therapy. It's kind of it's tough. It's like hell no. And that makes sense too, is because you mentioned too how Laura, because Laura wouldn't see this body. You know, I don't think that.
In fact,
I think
in
if
my
Laura were to
opinion,
walk
I think that
around here,
Laura sees Silent Hill as like a bright and beautiful town. I think she
Yeah.
sees Silent Hill as like somewhere great. She doesn't see
Yeah,
any of the
'cause when you were
monsters at
playing-
all.
yeah, because that's the thing. When you were playing and you told me that, and I just remember thinking about that because of my theory. I was just like, how does that add up? It's like he says she's real. I don't understand how that. Now, obviously, I get it. But
Yeah.
like at the time, I was still trying to figure it out. And when I was watching you play, she was like, Laura, I can't have you run around here. It's dangerous. She's like what's dangerous? Like,
Yeah.
what am I in danger
She
of?
doesn't see
And
it
I
at
took
all.
note of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like none of this is. And you know what? To Eddie, he sees his dead bully. That's it. That's what he sees. Because that's the thing. With Angela, the abstract daddy is just what James sees. What Angela sees is her actual
father.
physical
Yeah.
father.
And
you
this
know what I
goes
mean?
to show, like when I say everyone in this town is murderers, James killed his wife, but he sees Mary. Angela killed her dad, but
in the
she
form of
sees,
Maria.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But Angela killed her dad, but she sees her dad when James is fighting the abstract daddy. Billy killed the bully, but most likely the bodies he sees is probably the bully, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I think that corpse is like it's just a manifest. It's just like to James, he sees himself because he has a lust to die.
Yeah,
because that's the whole reason why
it's
Loki
from
came
James's
here in the first
perspective.
place.
So,
and it's from James's perspective. And then all these bodies, the bodies that's stuffed in the freezer, the body that's freezing right there.
Yeah.
That Eddie fucking shot 3 times. Very clearly, he doesn't see James. He sees his bullies. He sees the people who laugh at him. He sees people that just like people like me. People who just see a fat guy eating pizza, and that's just all that I think that there is to him. Is just a fat guy eating pizza.
But we've talked about this before. But when it comes to Eddie and Angela,
but then you play the game.
Eddie sees Silent Hill as a cold place, and it's provable in the remake because most of the time when Eddie speaks, you can see his breath because
look
to
at
him,
that.
it's cold,
it's covered in ice.
Yeah. To Angela, in my opinion, she sees nothing but fire. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's not an opinion. That's just a downright fact.
Yeah.
She outright says it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yep. So everyone in the town, it manifests differently. So cool.
I wonder.
The remake just builds upon that so much. Like I never thought they would do it as well as they did, but they did.
Yeah, we need to talk about why. Because that's the thing from what I understand about Bloober, their career up until this point has basically been making games. It's like, we love Silent Hill 2. We all love Silent Hill 2 so damn much. We want to make Silent Hill 2, but obviously we can't do that. So we're going to make games kind of like it. Some hit, some don't. But please, Konami, please let us make Silent Hill 2. And finally get the chance to do it.
Layers of Fear was okay. I bought the Blair Witch game. I played it. Pretty much a walking simulator with jump scares. Not bad, just not great. You had the Medium, which was, again, very similar to Silent Hill. You had the whole other world concept of it. You could just tell that they love this game. They've wanted to make this game for a long time, but haven't been able to. So what do? They made a bunch of different mediocre games that weren't quite this, but were very close. If not, the story's a little different, but, they needed to do this.
It was a portfolio piece.
Yeah, exactly.
It was proof that it's like, hey, we are more than capable. If you give us this thing,
if you give us this,
we will do
budget.
it justice.
Yeah.
That's exactly what freaking happened. Is like they were allowed to cook, and it's like now they have cooked, and I think
it's great. It's very good.
Yeah,
I was in the camp for 2.5 years or so. I wanted to pre-order this game. I was so excited for it, but at the same time, I had the same response as a lot of people, where it's like, oh yeah, Silent Hill 2 remake, Bloober. Oh, ooh, everyone thought that.
I saw that everywhere. And as someone who respects Silent Hill 2's legacy and was at least somewhat familiar with it through how much you like it, everything that I saw from it, I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is my chance to finally. But I totally got it. It was like I understood why people were skeptical. It was just that I didn't entirely feel that, but it is also partially because I've already eaten well myself. Because, like I said before, I love Half-Life, and Half-Life, I adore Half-Life so much. And I always told you, you have to play Half-Life, you have to play Half-Life, and you finally got your chance to do that with Black Mesa, which is something that I also consider a triumph, because you're talking about another group of people who did not make the original game. Like, it's like none of these people made Half-Life, but understood it because they were such big fans of it, and they were allowed to make it. They were given tools to do so even, and came out with something that really truly not only stands on its own 2 feet, but really truly like gives a good, like, I love Black Mesa, and I personally think, like, I love the original. Obviously, I've already said this. I've loved the original Half-Life, but you finally got your chance to play the original Half-Life.
And I started with I started with Half-Life 1, like the OG, and it was pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie.
You started with Half-Life Source, which was
Source,
probably the worst
Source engine. Yeah,
that's the thing. They remade it.
That's pretty bad.
They remade it with the Source engine, and holy shit, it was so. It only gets worse with time. That's the thing about it. It's like it was all right when it came out, and then as every Windows update since then has just made it progressively worse. And it's like since 2003, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse.
Yeah,
and worse.
It was pretty bad. That was such a horrible experience. So for context, I started streaming Half-Life 1. I started streaming Half-Life 1 on Twitch. And the bugs were so bad that I had people in my chat telling me that I was like actively cheating. And I'm like, I'm not cheating. I'm just trying to play the game.
It was the part where the giant barnacle in Blast Pit. The part where it's supposed to like not barnacle. Yeah. It's the big the tentacles. That's what it is. Yeah. They were supposed to whack the shit out of you, and they just weren't because Source Engine was so bugged that they just completely ignored you. And somebody in the chat was like, "Yo, what the hell? This guy's not getting hit." It's not his fault. That version sucked, so he stopped. I was like, just fucking stop.
I stopped, and then at that point, Black Mesa was like mostly done, except I was just waiting for Zen to get done. Yeah. So and once Zen got done, I jumped in, and I had a great time. That was super fun. I had a great time with that.
But yeah. But that's just it. It's like, when you have a group of people that didn't make the original game, but they grew on it. They grew up on it. They've had years to see it.
Like we said earlier, like they understand the game. This is it. We've seen it so many times. Homecoming, they didn't understand. Downpour, they didn't understand fully, but for the most part, they got it okay. It's just we've seen so many mediocre Silent Hill remade bullcrap stuff. It's like,
and then the only time in fucking years where Konami could literally just let them cook, just straight up, just let
Konami just let
Konami obviously. Norman Reedus. And I just recently found out the fucking Junji Ito, the guy behind fucking Uzumaki, was also attached to they were gonna have him do monster designs. PT, they could have, bro. I'm to shout out real quick another YouTuber that I have a lot of respect for. It's a guy by the name of Grimbeard. Check this guy out. He's hilarious. He made a great point with Konami. They are the only fucking people who can fumble the bag so goddamn perfectly, because you literally have people buying PS4s to preserve the memory of a playable teaser. Maybe you should shut the fuck up for 10 minutes and give the people what the fuck they want. And fucking hell. Like it's I will never forgive them. PT was so great.
Yeah, and Konami doesn't understand when it's just time to let go of the franchise and let someone else take care. They are holding on to that IP with like fist. Just give it to Bloober. Just give it to someone else, like someone who understands it, because Konami doesn't understand anymore. They're completely lost in the sauce. They're so worried about pachinko machines, quick money. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say, and Yu-Gi-Oh. And they got Yu-Gi-Oh!
Sure,
Too. Don't
yeah,
forget about that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah.
And pissing off Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
And making him. And you know what? I mean, we can be thankful at least, somewhat in the sense that it's because of that whole bull fuckery that we were able to get Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Take that for what you will. But yeah, I'll say it here right now. I don't know how crazy this might sound to anyone who's listening to this in September of 2024, but Bloober needs to be the ones in charge of the remakes here. I think that this is a great way for them to compete with Capcom with their remakes. Their remakes have done excellent.
Right.
I mentioned this before. This game came out of fucking nowhere for me in the sense that I didn't expect it to be this impactful, this much out of the year. I really expected Stalker 2 to be my favorite game of the year. I have no idea how that's going to turn out, even though I'm already really hyped for that, and I'm still excited for it as a motherfucker.
That's actually pretty wild for you too, because like that's
so crazy
one
because
of
I've
your
been waiting
favorite
for that.
franchises of all time.
Yes, but this, I'm dead ass serious, is in the running and heavy running for game of the year for me personally. This was an experience that I am honestly never ever going to forget. I am so glad that I was able to experience the legendary experience of this game through this medium.
I'm just glad I have someone
Bloober.
to talk to about it now.
Yeah, for real. I'm so happy that I was a part of this. I'm so happy that I understand this now. That I can now fully delve into this and fully really appreciate it for what it is and learn from it.
Yeah.
In all honesty, and
it's very much so a game, like I said earlier. It is getting over it, the game. So like this.
Well, there is already a game called Getting Over It.
Oh yeah, shut up. This game literally will take what you think and just twist it upside down, and I love it for it. It's so amazing. It changed my entire perspective on life alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with dealing with your own personal stripes and what that kind of shit does to you, and the importance of getting over it and stuff. That's very poignant.
I'm in agreement. Like if Bloober can do this well, just let him keep doing it. Why not? The first one needs a remake bad. The third one could use a remake. 3 and 4. 4 is just super hard to just play in general. It's
make 4 in VR.
Tough.
I'm saying it here. This is my idea, Bloober. If you're listening, you're probably not, but I swear to God, if there's even a chance that you know someone who knows 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 someone that works at Bloober, you fucking pass this message down. I don't care if we're playing telephone. You tell them. Boxhead 95 from Adam Bomb Baby. Make Silent Hill 4 VR.
Oh my God.
It can work. It will work. It's a bottle film of a game. It takes place in a fucking apartment. Parts of it's in first person. You can get freaky with it. I'm telling you, people are already kind of split on how they feel about that one. Some people like it. Some people love it. I promise you, this is the way to do it. Make that shit VR. Make it niche. It's already niche. Make it even more niche. Do it better. This shit could be cool. I promise you, that's the way to do it. Don't make it exclusive to VR. Make it an option. Do what they did with Resident Evil 7 and 4 and all that. Make it to where you can play it normal, but make Silent Hill 4 VR. That is a great idea. I don't give a fuck what you say. I need another reason to break out my index. Please, Bloober, please. I'm begging you. Go on.
Oh my God.
Cook. You've proven yourself. You can cook like a motherfucker. I can't wait to eat. This was incredible. I'm telling you. And after everything I've learned tonight, 11 out of 10. This is as of right now, this is my game of the year. Now keep in mind,
everything I've told you tonight happens in the original. It just looks
I've been waiting for Stalker 2. I've been waiting for Stalker 2 since 2011. Okay? I've been waiting for that game since 2011. You want to talk about a fucking fan base that has been dragged through the mud? Oh my God. To talk about that, like there was no hope, okay? There was no fucking hope. You're talking about, okay, 2012, the game gets canceled because they lose funding. All right, already that's a problem. All right, but maybe they'll revive it later on down the line. Nope, GSC Studios gets fucking closed. Okay, well that fucking sucks. Oh, you know what? Maybe THQ. They'll just put another studio. THQ fucking shuts down. It's dead in the water. It's so dead in the water. You got fucking people.
Wait, THQ.
THQ went under.
Oh, dang.
Long time ago. THQ fucking died a long time ago. And it it took the Stalker franchise down with it. It was so dead that you literally had people making mods that were standalone. You didn't even need to install the OG games that had all the content of the OG games, and there weren't even copyright striking it because no one owned the fucking rights.
That's wild.
It was so dead. There was no hope. And now, despite everything, despite a war in Ukraine, for flying fuck's sake, we're still getting Stalker 2, and it looks so goddamn good. I've heard early reviews. People are saying it's hard, it's scary, and it's running on Unreal Engine 5. I could not be more fucking excited, but still, Silent Hill 2, you made a fucking dent this year, buddy. I'm not kidding you. This shit was worth the 23-year wait. Holy shit. I'm not even joking. Like this isn't yes. Best psychological horror experience I have ever had. Ever. And ever will. Even if they remake the other games. I don't think it's going to top
It's
this.
definitely the best psychological horror game ever made.
And it makes it even more so because you play this game, but I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I know we just spoiled a lot of shit. Play this fucking game in hard mode. Like if you have any opportunity to play this shit, play this on blind. Obviously we spoiled a bunch of shit, so it's not entirely blind. But if you know someone who has not played this, tell them to play it and tell them to play it on fucking hard mode. Hard puzzles, hard combat, no hints. The level of fuckery. But it's so doable. It's so. You want to talk about getting over it, the fucking game. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, play this fucking game on hard. The monsters are going to beat the shit out of you. You're going to have to really learn to overcome them, for sure. It's a whole process. The puzzles, you're going to have to really think. But like I said, you got to see through the fog. It's right in front of your face. I'm telling you, it ain't that hard. It ain't Kojima level hard, where you got to go into the fucking settings and stare at a photo for 3 hours. Like, no, it ain't on that level. It ain't on PT level, but it's right there. But it will fuck with you. If you overthink it, you're going to get screwed. There was one time, the solution to a puzzle, I needed a code that was 4 digits. The clue was a math problem. Math problem came out to 3 digits. Math problem came out to 3 digits. Confused the shit out of me. I'm like,
yeah, that's the one you texted me on, right?
Yeah, I texted you on that one because I was like, I don't want you to help me.
What is this?
But I'm losing my. No, I didn't want you to help me worth the shit. I was just letting you know I was going through hell. I was going through literal hell. It was driving me insane. I was thinking of every stupid which possible way that I can interpret this fucking math problem to get a 4-digit number, and none of them were working. And it took me over 10 hours. I had to take a walk in the game. I took a walk. I solved some other shit. I fucking found the pizza. I did everything. I finally came to the conclusion. I'm probably going to have to brute force this shit. So I started all the way at the beginning. 0, 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, 0, 1. 0, 0, 0, 2. And then it hit me. I can just fucking put a 0 in front of the fucking 3-digit code. And it worked. And it worked. And let me tell you, the satisfaction that I felt when I finally fucking figured that one out is something you're just not going to get. Yeah. You're just not going to get it if you play this shit on fucking baby mode. You're just not. Oh my God, bro. I'm telling you, like the combat, I was watching you play. I was just like, dude, like this thing would have absolutely annihilated me right now. You just keep swinging. You literally didn't even learn how to dodge. Period, until you had to fight the 2 pyramid heads.
I still didn't do it.
And then you still didn't do it. It was so
I'm just bad
easy.
at video games in general.
But they were, dude, it's just like, you got to time it. So it's like, and it's crazy because more than one thing's hitting you. Sometimes it's just impossible to dodge.
Yeah.
The health is hard to find. Bullets are kind of hard to find. You kind of get confused. It's like, bro, this... Playing it on hard, I know it's a psychological horror. Playing it on hard, though, turns this shit also into a survival horror. And boy, does it ever. Like,
yeah, well, for sure. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
Like, even more, like very more so. Because, like, health's hard to find, you know, and you got to get good at the combat in order for you to really survive it. You have to learn how to dodge. You have to learn what it takes to read their movements to get used to that. And sometimes it's very hard to do when you can't see more than 3 feet in front of your fucking face and you're in a dark hallway. It's cramped as shit. You don't have a whole lot of room to move. So you just say, fuck it. I have to use 3 bullets because shit, you know, like I don't have time to learn. I need to kill you. Like,
well,
you know what I mean?
This is probably a good time to transition into the next topic. I really wanted to talk to you about the puzzles. Some of these I really needed to ask help on because they were pretty damn hard. Some I genuinely needed help on.
Yeah, you needed to ask Madden more than a few times.
Yeah, I needed to ask Madden more than a few times.
You know, I actually got that from a Donkey stream.
A Donkey stream?
He streamed. Yeah, he was making fun of that because I know you've never played a sports game in your entire life.
Yeah,
but there's this thing. There's a fucking sports ball game called Madden. It's named after an old NFL Raiders coach named John Madden, who eventually retired after winning a bunch of championships and shit like that, and then became a color commentator. He was the best one, and it was so cool that fucking EA named their sports ball game after him. And there's a mode in that where it's like, you know, you're picking the plays and stuff, but hey, maybe you don't know what play you want to do. Well, then you could always just do, I want to ask Madden, and it just like it just picks the play for you. Because you know he was a coach. Yeah. So Donkey was playing the OG Resident Evil, and he kept getting confused. So his chat was like, "You should try to ask Madden." And ever since then, I was just like, "That's funny as hell." And anytime you ask me for help in a game, I'm like, "You like to ask Madden?"
Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious. Yeah, I never really got the connection.
Well, there you go. Now you understand.
Yeah,
I guess we're blowing minds.
Thank you, Madden.
Thank you for selecting Ask Madden. But I'll tell you what, the puzzles. It's funny that you mentioned that because, like I said, you played this game on fucking baby mode.
Yeah, I played on baby mode. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted the cinematic experience. What can I say?
The cinematic experience. I had the psychological experience.
Yeah, you did, dude. Nah, dude. Just I knew how the puzzles were in the first game. I knew I wanted to do this podcast by this date, so it's like, look, I'm not going to sit here and kill myself over this.
They were genuine brain teasers. Like on hard mode, they were
definitely tickled my brain.
Which is another thing that I actually found kind of cool. Is it's kind of an Easter egg. The solution to the puzzle. Oh, first off, before I mention this, in the clock room, right? The clock room in the apartments in the hell room. I noticed 2 things from that clock specifically. First off, the solution to that puzzle is a certain time. It's a certain hour, minute, and second. That's the solution to the puzzle.
Yeah.
That hand.
It's also shown on every other clock in the game.
Is on every other fucking clock. Exactly.
Except
I
not
noticed
for digital
that.
clocks, though. Clock. Only for analog clocks.
All the analog clocks had the exact same. They even had the same like moldy drip. Yeah. Down straight. It was just like it was the exact same clock everywhere, and it freaked me out because I was like, "That was the fucking solution to the puzzle."
Yeah.
Now all the clocks look like that, and then another thing that I noticed in the Hell War when that thing starts ticking, it's like, tall. Yeah. It's like really slow and distorted. You look at a picture of Mary in that room, which I did often, by the way. I was looking at Mary. I was looking at the note. But when you look at Mary's picture specifically in that room, when that clock is like winding down, if you look at the picture of Mary, it's like it springs straight up. It tick tock tick.
Really?
Tock tick. Yeah, you can go back and check that shit. I did it. It's like right before the Pyramid Head fight. I looked at a picture of Mary, and that was when I heard it do that, and I was like, "Wait a minute, that's wild." And I'd even like reloaded a save to test it. And it was like, yep, it sounds like shit until you look at a picture of Mary. And then it's like, it corrects itself.
Right.
It's so weird. I noticed little things like that. It was really cool.
That's
little
interesting.
Easter eggs like that.
I didn't notice that on my playthrough, but I also don't think I looked at her picture as often as you did. Because you knew what was coming. Or I hinted to you
you told me you were like, you told me it was like, I'm going to give you one hint. One hint period. And even then, it wasn't really a hint.
Yeah.
Yeah, like before it even started, you were like, it was like every once in a while, just know what you're there for. Look at the picture of Mary. Look at it. And eventually what I ended up finding myself doing is using that to psych myself up. There would be a time, because I was always like on edge this entire game. Like there was not really, even in the down moments, it would still scare the shit out. You would have like a moment. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna check the bathroom stall here, and then oh, it's locked, whatever. And you're about to walk out, and then you just hear like a slam and a scream, and you're like, the fuck
what was that? Yeah,
yeah, like you're in the prison, and then you go out into you just hear hooves stomping around, and it's like it's getting closer. You're like, what the fuck is that?
In the prison, my god.
Yeah, you're just like,
that was
what
horrible.
the hell? What the fuck? Yeah, you don't know. And the puzzles are fucking with you too. There's a couple that I think, well, I know because I saw you answer differently, and it still worked. There's a couple where you have to like make your own personal judgments on,
right?
And like, I find that to be very interesting. Like, and you know, just how it's like, for example, the coin puzzle.
Yeah,
like the coin puzzle. Who's at fault? I immediately noticed the parallel to the story, the hints, and James's situation. I 100% noticed that. In my particular playthrough, I chose to judge the man, which now that I think about it, might have actually been the reason why you got leave.
Think so?
100%. Now that I think so, because you answered the sickness, you answered the snake was the one at fault, which I guess is the logical thing, because I answered it in a way where it was like, I think this is a trick question, and I'm already getting the sense that James is guilty of something. So I figured that James would, because he was personally guilty and the town's fucking with you, that he would answer that he himself was at fault. So I picked the man.
Right.
And I got in water. You, as I was watching you do that, you said, well, the woman's definitely not at fault. The man's kind of not at fault either because of what happened. More so the disease, aka the poison bite of the snake, is the thing that set it all off. So I blame the snake. Both of those worked.
Yeah.
But I think when it came down to it, I think when it came down to it, I think that might be the reason why you got leave.
Yeah. Maybe I chose the one that was a little more leave oriented, but
a little bit less depressing on James's side.
Yeah.
Because James,
actually, if I could think of anything that, because I was pushing for in water, if I could think of anything where I was like, I really don't know what to choose here, it probably was. It probably was that one. That is probably the one that set me on the course for that.
Maybe, because I had forgot, because I was thinking, because when I watched you beat it, I was like, how the fuck did you get? Like, because I was watching you. Like, because I did look it up afterwards, like, how did I get this ending? I didn't look up how to get any of the other ones. I was like, how did I get in water? And then I looked at and I was, because that was one other thing.
I went in going, I know I want this ending, but I'm not going to look up how to do it because I don't want to screw up my playthrough. Because the second I look up how to do it, my brain's going to go, okay, I have to do this. You know what I mean? I just kind of went by the rules of the original game, and somewhere I went wrong, and that's okay. You know, I'm fine.
I didn't look it up either. I was blown away when I found out that the game kind of, it's like, it's not so much, because in most games, especially when there's multiple endings, it's mostly very clear. It's like, okay, you're making choices here.
Yeah.
You know?
This game is not like that. There's an invisible point system.
Definitely not.
That you cannot see and you cannot tally.
It's all deep. It's all stuff that you don't even think about. Because when you're playing a game, when you're playing a video game, there are just, even if you're as immersed as hell, which is me, like I get into it. Like I really do. I am the person I am playing as, straight up. Even then, there is still some shit that you do in games that you just don't think about. Like saving your health. It's like not wanting to heal all the way up immediately because, well, health is hard to find. And I only got somewhat slapped. I'm not going to like drink the whole health potion just because I just got slapped. I'm going to wait until I get a little bit more hurt before I do that to really maximize it.
Right.
But what the game sees that as is, oh, so you don't care about your health then?
Yeah.
You can heal. You just choose not to. You're a glutton for punishment, aren't you? And it's like, oh, that's fucking deep. It shows that you don't care about your health. If you examine Angela's knife after you pick it up,
that's even in the OG, like, or the original game, where if you even inspect, if you look at that knife, that is a whole point towards in water because it shows, quote unquote, that James is suicidal. Something that they changed from the original game that was not, and I just experienced this like 4 hours ago. when it's not in the remake where Angela goes, saving that knife for yourself. In the original game, James responds with, no, I would never kill myself. But in this game, he does not say that. And I think it's important to take that line out, because if it were to be in, that would add more confusion as to what your ending would be. If you got in water, that would make no sense.
Like, it would kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was a good line for them to take out. I noticed that when I played it, and I was like,
so that's a good change in your
exactly.
opinion.
Yeah, that's probably that and this town is full of monsters. Why don't you sit there and eat pizza? I think those are the two good lines for them to take out, even though they had a
What about Lost?
What's up?
Because I know about that through the memes as well. What? Like Angela going, Lost.
Oh, that yeah.
But in the game, she like I didn't even like it didn't even register that it was like, oh yeah, that's the meme.
Yeah.
Like she just is like Lost.
Yeah.
Like it just makes sense.
It's
more believable that way.
It's another instance of it just doesn't sound right. You know what I mean?
Right. And so just little thing. I mean, that's another kind of the thing I was.
Gosh, since we're going back to the beginning of the game, can I tell you another little just little fun fact, real quick?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. You know the white van at the beginning, right? You've got James's car, and then you're walking to you're on the overlook, and then you take that right. Right before you take that right, there's a stair on the staircase. There's a
back
van.
At it again with the white vans, huh?
There's a white van. You know whose van that is?
No, I don't even remember the van.
It's got a soda in the front. You know, fast food soda.
I don't.
Like it may have just came out of a fast food.
I don't remember the van.
You don't remember the van at all?
Really? I don't think I saw the van. I don't remember the. I don't think that, because I came across a lot of cars in this game, so I don't exactly remember all of them except for James's car, and that's about it. All the other ones, I'm like, I kind of don't remember. So if you're telling me is like, oh yeah, do you remember this? I'm like, I don't know.
I guess.
I think it might have blended together to me. But why? What's the significance of that? Did because apparently I missed something.
To show you. Hold on.
I guess that's one of the things I kind of wanted to ask you about is like the difference.
This van right here.
Oh, that van. Oh yeah, that van. Okay, what's up with that van?
It's Eddie's van. He parked up there with you. Yeah. If you look in the front, if you look in the front dash, it's got a soda in there. And in the original Silent Hill 2, if you stuck around on the main menu long enough, there would be a gosh, I'd love to bring this up, but I don't have it in front of me. If you stuck around on the main menu long enough on the original Silent Hill 2 game, there would be a little movie that plays that just kind of showcases everything. And there's a unique scene with him and Laura sitting in front of that van. So it's heavily implied that van is Eddie's van. So.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Eddie he parked in the overlook too. Except you had a little bit more baggage.
Right. Well, yeah, so that's just sort of a thing that motherfuckers like you would know, but I would.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
put it in there because of it. All right, cool.
Yep.
All right, so that's another layer of something I can look out for when I try to replay the game and get the dog ending.
Speaking
which is
of
the true canon.
Yeah, true canon ending. Did you ever catch Maria's outfit? Did you ever catch that at all?
Now that you mention it, no, because I don't know this game.
Okay.
No,
the outfit she holds up in this scene is her original outfit in the original game.
Oh, I was wondering. Okay, yep. I thought it was kind of interesting how they
Does
just
that
had
outfit
like this
look familiar at all?
I mean, what, from like OG artwork and shit? I mean, I kind of didn't even notice
maybe
that they changed
someone else
outfit,
maybe had worn it at any time. The leopard print.
I don't think Mary would ever wear that, if that's what you're implying.
Maria wore that because Team Silent ripped that from Christina Aguilera.
Ah, are you serious?
Literally ripped.
This is the Letterman jacket all over again. I fucking love it.
This is an actual thing.
I love shit like this, man. It's just like little quirks of, oh yeah, that's American culture. Well, people dress like this.
Well,
We'll just
Christina Aguilera wore it, so it
oh,
must
we'll
be.
put the
Yeah.
we'll put the handgun inside of a shopping cart because
Yeah.
everyone in
Yeah.
America just goes to Target and buys
I love how
bullets.
when I got to that part, I love how when I got to that on my playthrough and you were watching my stream, I was like, "What do you think this means? Like, what does it mean?" And you said, "Oh yeah, it's like it's because in
America.
America, yeah, in America you can just
I
go
didn't know.
buy
I
a
thought it was
gun
just like
anywhere." And you're
American.
exactly right. That is what they meant when it was in the shopping
I
cart.
know. Yeah, that little funny little things like that, man. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. But yeah. So I what you wanted to talk about puzzles. Um, for the most part, I think that the puzzles they were very fun. Like I love a good brain teaser. I've been playing like I have actually. I'm staring right at it. I've had this book of like high level brain teasers that I tinker with for years now. Like I've had this since 2004, and Ant gave it to me. So I've had like a lot of practice. Kind of so a game like this, especially playing on hard mode, blind no hints. This shit was really fun. All of the puzzles, except for that one with the fucking 4-digit code, they were just the right amount of use your head. The answer is right in front of your face. Just use your head, see through the fog. You can get out of it, even when they close you into claustrophobic places. But the two that gave me the most struggle, was that 4-digit code that I mentioned, and also the labyrinth. Even though that the labyrinth wasn't nearly as bad as the 4-digit code, which is especially at the ending of it, but I had trouble trying to figure out how to rotate the cube. It wasn't until I realized that you could rotate it, like up and down and left and right. That like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I got
Yeah.
this now. But until then, I was like, huh.
Yeah,
I
Labyrinth was
don't.
a lot shorter in the original game. I'm glad it got fleshed out. I know it seemed like I was probably ticked off a lot, but genuinely, I just have a hard time with like directions or whatever. So if it's not as obvious as it was in the first game, just doing Labyrinth and this and it being like an actual 3.5 hour trek. Whew, man, Labyrinth was rough. Prison was tough. Labyrinth was definitely the hardest level out of the entire game for me, at least.
I don't think there's a single level that I disliked. I think that every single level in this remake
Let me rephrase
was
that.
very, very
Well,
fun in their own
actually, no,
way
I'll stand
and
by
very
that.
memorable.
It was definitely tough, but I didn't hate anything about it. It's just a tough game in general.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Yeah, you're definitely right. This shit's a tough game.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's funny to me how it's like you play this. I mean, you played this on the lowest graphical settings you could, on the
No,
easiest
I played on
difficulty.
medium. I played on medium.
Well, the point that I'm about to make here is like even on that, it still looks and it's like it still looks so
Great.
fucking good.
Yeah,
And
and
it's like even on hard
that's
or on
just
easy,
Unreal, man. Unreal just there's such a great engine. Bethesda,
and
if you're
even on
watching, take
easy, yeah.
notes.
They ain't taking shit for those, bro.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
They're not
creative
paying that
engine until the
royalty.
day they die.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, though, man, like I that's the thing is like I find that to be interesting. I was like, we both had kind of similar experiences, but because of the way that the game is built, like it's perfect for what you wanted to get out of it, basically. So like with me,
Yeah.
I really wanted a true blue psychological challenge in every which way. I had to really think to solve these puzzles. I had to really be brave to push forward and really like and to because you don't get good in combat unless you are willing to get your ass beat a couple
Yeah.
of times, and that's kind of scary in this freaking game. And you learn the hard way. Every lesson is a hard one, but it's always a justified one. Like I
Yeah.
never want like the game is intentionally clunky, but even then I still felt like it was totally learnable. It was totally easy to pick up and to understand and to learn its language, because every game has a language it speaks, and you don't know what it allows you to do, how it goes. I think this game kind of teaches you its language very easily, and it's a game that's easy to learn, a bit hard to master, but then when you but even when you have mastered it, because of that clunkiness and the sluggishness of the fact that James is an everyman,
Yeah.
even when you're mastering it, it's still gonna kick your ass. Like it doesn't stop doing that. And I had a lot of fun trekking through this shit.
Dude, same, man.
In the mud of Silent Hill. I can't wait to play the other remakes whenever they come out.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Bloober outright said they're like, look, we're talking to Konami about maybe doing some more remakes. We'll see what happens. I know they've already announced they got another game coming out, which I would think they would give Silent Hill a little more time to shine before they did that. But I think at the same time, Bloober being smaller and Bloober doing a fantastic job with this, they're probably banking on the hype, going, hey, look, you like this? We got this coming out too. You know what I mean?
I sure hope it works out for them. I really hope it does.
We just talked about this. I'm not going to rehash the same thing. They've had some titles that were just not that great, but they also were not that bad. And it's about time they got handed an IP that they genuinely care about and that they genuinely, honestly, rebuilt it from the ground up. An amazing game with a beautiful, horrifying story. That a game that has resonated for me with years, and I'm just glad that you finally got the chance to play it. Now we can talk about it, or we have talked about it now.
When you think about it, I think that like that's one of the things. Like, it's one thing to make a game because you're inspired by it, but then when you actually are given the keys and you do work with some of the people, like you're working for the original publisher who has given you an actual budget to do so, and they are even giving you access
creator
to
and
the monster creator and the composer.
Most importantly, Akira himself. He's just such a great composer.
Yeah, so it's like
the sound design in this game is more terrifying than the game.
Oh my god,
it's beautiful. You could be in a completely dark room, and the second that anything comes on that guy makes, goosebumps on my arm immediately. You know what I'm saying? It's
Black
crazy.
Fairy when the fucking
don't even get me started.
Burned.
Yeah,
dude, I'm not kidding. When I was just sitting, it was like by that point in time, it had probably been like maybe 1:30 in the morning, and I was like just walking, just hearing that fucking soundtrack after years of hearing it, in different things, and then finally it's just like, I just killed my fucking wife.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, this is how I was feeling the whole time.
In the music, just completely, it's so horrifyingly beautiful.
By the way, I wanted to, but yeah, it's like, I feel like that once you get the keys to something, like when you actually do get the keys to something like that, and you are in the DNA, you learn shit. You genuinely learn stuff, and I really hope that because it's like you can't. No one has a perfect record. Everybody's got to fucking make some misses in order to learn how to hit straighter. So I think, especially after handing the keys to this and seeing how great and successful it was and how clearly they pulled this shit off, I really hope that just working on Silent Hill 2 in and of itself is enough to give Bloober the lessons that they need to make some great independent stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we see why this works.
Yeah. Well, I believe they made. I think they made The Observer, and I think that was really popular. I'm
not trying to shit on Bloober here.
They made Layers of Fear, and then some people liked it, some people didn't. It wasn't really my taste. And then, like I said, I played Blair Witch, and it was all right at best. It was not the greatest in the world. I was expecting a little bit more from that. But that being said, I don't care about the past games they've made at this point, because this one is just peak. It's beyond amazing. And the fact that they used Unreal, the fact that they used a competent engine that just worked, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just looks so good.
Even on the lowest setting, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
You set this shit to low and play it, it is still going to look fabulous.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to me how Unreal Engine is just, I mean, yeah, you do kind of, you got to invest in some hardware here. This is definitely a future-proof game. That's for sure.
Well, my 2070, I can't do RTX. I don't even know why my card supports.
You're not. No, your card was the fucking test run for RTX.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. Because any game, like even Cyberpunk, I run Cyberpunk at like 15 frames with RTX. It's like, what's the point, But even without RTX, man, like it is.
I didn't even use RTX.
seeing Silent Hill rebuilt in a modern game is just insane. It looks beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah, it
Beautifully
really does.
horrible in the most horrific
Yeah.
way. And I just love it. And I'm here for it. And I hope they remake 1, 3, and 4. Let's get those out. We don't talk about anything after that. Let's just get those out.
And make 4 in VR.
Yeah, make 4 in
But
VR.
but I'll tell you what. I before I forget, this just popped in my damn head.
Let's wrap
right?
here in just a bit.
I will in a second, but there's one before I forget. There's one thing I want to talk about, and that is because we were talking about Labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
Labyrinth was the moment. Because here's the thing, right? Maria specifically. All right, everything about her kind of fucks with me, but it's like it's very clear by the ending. Like I totally get it by the ending. I don't have any questions about her specifically, but it's like specifically that was the moment when in Labyrinth when you see her behind the cell after she just got fucking slashed by Pyramid Head. That was the moment when I was like, okay, this is everything that I was starting to think up until like suspect up until this point has been confirmed beyond belief, 100%. And I wonder, I want to know like what specifically with Maria, because I think that she's one of the most fascinating, interesting, because it's like, she looks like your dead wife.
Mm-hmm.
She sounds like your dead wife. I mean, you were talking about Maria earlier with her outfit. Like, looks like your dead wife, sounds like your dead wife, isn't at all, very flirtatious, which just in and of itself is, we can get into, I mean, we've already mentioned, the sexual repression. And the
let me mention, not to interrupt you, but do you know what Born from a Wish is?
Not a clue.
Okay. I'm not going to spoil it for you because that's actual potential DLC for this game. Born from a Wish was a DLC for Silent Hill 2 that you play as Maria in. I'm not going to tell you about it. Yeah. You didn't know about that?
No.
At all? Okay.
Why would they do that? I'm confused. Why?
What do you mean?
So is she real or not? Like, I guess she isn't. I know that she isn't. I fucking fought her at the end. But
Born from a Wish was a DLC for Silent Hill 2. You play as Maria. When she reaches a house in the game, did you ever meet it where she started talking about a house with a gate around it?
I wrote it down. Hang on. Was that where is it?
Go to the show notes. Go.
Fuck it. I know what you're talking about because I did write it down. Was it the Baldwin Mansion? Because I remember she was talking her ass off about that, and then it never came back up again. So I wrote it down. I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm going to ask him about it.
Correct. That is where Born from a Wish takes place. But I'm not going to talk about it. If you want to watch a walkthrough, that's fine. The reason I'm not going to talk about it is because, I mean, hey, look, what if Bluebird remakes the DLC and puts that in there? So I'm going to let you experience that if they do that.
In 2001
for
a PS2 game?
Yep.
I have never heard of that before.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not a DLC, but I do know it is a completely different, separate walkthrough that is on the game. But
I think I might be being stupid because I can't think of any other, like, I thought DLC.
You know when she would say something like, remember when you watched me stream and she would say something and I would say, Born from a Wish. Remember that? 2 or 3 times?
I thought you were just talking about Maria because of the fact that, like, it's like, she's born from the wish of James to move on and find someone that's like his wife, but not.
Well, that's kind of what I guess it implies. But
every time you said that,
Born from a Wish is a DLC or is a separate game mode that takes place where you play as Maria in the original game. Don't quote me on the DLC. But I'm not 100% sure how you unlock that.
Hang on, I kind of want to find out. Hang on. Because I've never heard of a DLC for a PS2 game. Like, you keep talking.
Hold on, dog. I'll look into it.
Well, actually, you look into it because I don't want to get spoiled on nothing. Look at me. I've I, I don't want to get spoiled.
I love how the
23
the top result is: do you think Silent Hill 2 remake will have the Born from a Wish campaign?
Okay. So yeah, people have been asking about it.
Yeah, yeah,
This is cool. I
yeah.
didn't know that.
It's only like 30 minutes long, but
Kind of like Amnesia Justine. For anybody who knows what that is, anyone who's also a fan of psychological horror series Amnesia,
big facts.
they had a DLC called Justine that you can only find if you go inside of the like as of this point you have to go into like the game files to find it. But you could play it and it's like a totally different thing. It's short. Kind of crazy.
So apparently you have to finish the game. Something you unlock by
Oh,
finishing
really?
the game once. Yeah. Anyways, it's Maria's story, and you can apparently unlock it by completing the game, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Can you do that? Can you do that now? So it's not in the remake?
No,
I guess not. People are asking
it's
that
not
question.
in the remake. No.
Okay, so I'll
but
keep
yeah,
an eye
yeah,
out
when
that,
she
I guess.
commented on that house, and when she commented on or when things would happen, I'd be like, "Born from a Wish." So, that
Okay.
but
It all makes
yeah,
sense.
that's a reference. But yeah, you maybe we'll see that
Interesting.
later.
Yeah, freaking hopefully. I am hoping to God Almighty that we get some more Bloober Silent Hill content. That is
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm
Hell, they
still.
might even be the ones to make Silent Hill 5.
I don't know about the writers. I don't know about the
I
writers.
mean, as
We'll
long
see.
as they keep
They did a
Ito
great
and
remake, though. That's for sure.
if they keep Ito and Yamaoka on board,
Yeah, true. I'm still a little
maybe
bit pissed
even get
off. I
back
got
a
the
couple
leave
other
ending,
guys.
but I'm just glad that you got the in water ending. And for what it's worth, I got in water the first time I played the original game. So I'm happy.
Maybe don't play it on easy and pick the man in the coin slot next time, and then maybe you'll get what you want.
Yeah, I remember that was the point.
I really do think that's what screwed you. I'm thinking because my whole hypothesis was that it's because you were playing on easy, and maybe it's like, oh, he's playing on baby mode, so we're not gonna
Yeah.
throw in all the psychological shit.
Yeah,
But
for real.
no, I think it's because you screwed up the coin.
Yeah, I probably moved it up for sure. It's probably all
You
me.
probably should have asked Madden on that one.
Yeah, I probably should have asked Madden. Anyways, to wrap things up, genuinely, this has been one of the most stressful experience. I've been playing this game nonstop for 3 days straight. I love this game.
Yep.
This game stresses me out. It makes me anxious. It gives me depression. In all the good ways. I love Silent Hill 2. What Bloober has done is truly legendary. This game is being remade with so much love and care. So much love and care. I can't explain to you how well they have done this. And I'm just glad I've played it. And I'm glad I've gotten my best friend to play it now. So we can now talk about it together and talk about how painful it was getting through it. And ultimately coming to our separate conclusions.
I'll tell you what, man, my conclusion here, I'll say this. The entire time that I was playing it, maybe it's because it already has the DNA of such, but the entire time that I was playing it, I did not feel like I was playing a remake of a classic game.
Right? It just felt like a great fucking game.
A classic game. Like I felt like as I was playing this game, I was like, this game is a classic. This game is a true blue. Like the physical media that I am playing in front of my face is a classic game that I am experiencing as it goes. And so I'm unbiased to the original entirely. So as someone who has never experienced the DNA before, I can say that this game is, in my opinion, perfect. Like, I think it does exactly what it intends to do on an incredibly mature level, in a way that I don't think that even the other games, from what I can understand, because like I said, I saw the movie, so I understand the plot, quote unquote, the plots of the other games.
Yeah.
And this one is most certainly the most standalone of all of every which is very funny because it's like everything that I do know about Silent Hill all involves the lore of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
This game could give a fuck about the
And
lore
you
of
gotta
Silent
think
Hill.
like if they started with 1, then after 1 they'd have to do 3, and then 3, then 2, then 4, and it's just good that
three's equal to 1.
Exactly. So it's good that they started with 2. Arguably,
Yeah.
most
Holy
likely
shit, is it good that they
best
started with
one
2.
out of all of them. And then after
Funny
this,
enough, just like Capcom, they started with their remakes with 2. They haven't remade.
Oh,
I mean, unless you
did
count
they?
the Resident Evil remake that they did for GameCube back on GameCube.
I never really
ago.
got into Resident Evil. It just was my vibe. It was too like high octane action explosions.
I like Resident Evil. Resident Evil has its place, especially the older games. They definitely did lean more into
4
the
was fun.
survival.
4 was really fun. I liked 4. 4 and 5 was okay.
What I find interesting is that they started their remakes with 2 as well, and I think if I recall correctly, that don't quote me on this, but I think that remake got Game of the Year. Resident Evil 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I can't remember.
You might be right.
I think
I don't
so.
know.
So that's what I'm saying, man. I think that the competition for Game of the Year, me personally, it's going to have to come down to Silent Hill 2 or Stalker 2, depending on how Stalker 2 is. I don't see anything that makes me think that Stalker 2 is going to be. But this video is not about Stalker 2. We'll make a podcast about that one, goddammit.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what.
You got to force me to play that one.
I'll tell you what. Hell, well, shit, that's probably going to take you hundreds of hours to do. We're just gonna have just a general discussion.
Yeah,
But dude, yeah, man, I am so grateful that it's so interesting to me how I've been hearing about this game my entire life, and I've waited basically until I was literally 29, which is how old James Sunderland is, with his fucking jacket in October, spooky month of all time,
spooky season,
and to finally experience this game, and I am so fucking happy I did. This was a total mind fuck that I don't believe I will ever forget. It has left its mark, and it's going to stay there no matter what. It's up there with the most impactful games that I've ever played in my life, without a doubt.
Dude, I put Silent Hill 2 like on par with like The Shining. If there was a movie equivalent that like both like they are both on the same level. Like legit.
This is on the level of Half-Life to me. This is on the level of, even more so, this is on the level of like Red Dead. This is on the level of Witcher. This is on the level of shit like that, man. Yeah. On the level of Stalker in terms of like, personal impact, but also just emotional.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. And it's so funny to me because it's like, I'm just living my life, doing my thing, looking forward to Stalker. Oh yeah, the Silent Hill 2 remake came out. Here's my chance to finally play the holy shit.
Yeah.
Damn it, like that, man. This motherfucking game, man. I'll tell you what. Croaky ain't never gonna be the same after this one. Right now,
join the club.
The box that played this game before, before I played this game, before I played this game, dead.
Yeah.
You are now speaking. You are now speaking to me, the box that survived Silent Hill, and is now dressed up as an alligator.
Yeah. Well,
I'm officially a VTuber now, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I can't tell you how much I love this game. I had a great time over the past 3 days streaming it for you, and us just figuring out puzzles together. You more so giving me hints so I can hurry up and finish it so we can have this published here on Halloween. It's the Atom Bomb Cast Halloween special, ladies and gentlemen, and we appreciate you for sticking around with us and hanging out while we talk about one of our favorite horror games.
Oh shit!
Yep. That being said, this has been the Atom Bomb Cast. We appreciate you guys for hanging out. We appreciate all our 𝑐HUMS Clubs members in Discord for supporting the podcast. And on that note, we'll catch you guys later.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. Catch you on the flip. Goodbye.